know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday.
Yes.
You ain't got no job.
Yes.
And you ain't got shit to do.
And we're back. It's your boy, Ivy Joe.
It's your boy, Just King, and what's happening?
And we are Hot Takes and Half Truth.
Where the agreeable go to disagree.
Yes.
You already know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another week back at it. Another blessed week.
Sunny West Palm Beach. Been hot as hell down here, let me tell you that.
Yeah, it has been that, baby.
It's a cool 90 degrees outside today.
It's hard to get on the bike, man. I sweat like a stuffed pig out there.
Here we go. You starting off with it, man.
Hey, baby, you gotta do something.
Got a foot in your craw?
Not yet.
A burr in your craw? Well,
Yes.
I don't know what it was, man. But yeah, it's been hot. It's been hot to say the least. I was doing something at work. You know, on the little app to tell you, you know, what it feel like outside before you go out there and do a job. And that being said, it's 98, but it feel like 108. So don't that mean it's 108? If it feel like 108, is it 108?
I think what they're taking into account is like direct sunlight, maybe even concrete. If you're on concrete, most people are on concrete, so it like reflects a bit. But I would agree. In general, like if it feels like that, then it is 108 degrees. Nigga.
If you feeling it and it's 108, or it feel like it's 108, it's 108. So it was 108 the other day.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
But so what's up, man? How you been, bro?
I've been good, man. Homeboy of mine came in for 4th of July week. He was down in the Fort Lauderdale area. But,
Okay.
Went down to Miami Friday night. Went to the new spot.
Yesterday night?
No.
Or last week?
Last week.
Okay.
For the 4th. What's the spot name?
Brick.
Victory. Victory Lounge. Victory Lounge. Restaurant and Lounge.
I ain't familiar with it, but I ain't
It's
familiar with
pretty new.
Miami, so.
It's pretty new. I mean, it's a black-owned business. Some young cats. It's pretty dope.
Okay.
Pretty dope atmosphere. Saw a few people in there. My boy,
Young Regis? Old Regis?
No. Saints. Alvin Kamara was in the building, so that was a big deal. Apparently, a lot of sports guys go through. Cause I saw something.
My dog snitching on everybody that's supposed to be social distancing right now.
Shit, dude. it was kind of tough in there, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know if we were really social distancing in there. But
Damn, man.
I had my most people did have on like masks and stuff, so I guess in that instance.
Well, he didn't. You saw him. You knew who he was.
I will not confirm nor does.
Yes. We're pleading the fifth already. Copping pleas early this episode.
I will not confirm or deny. But it was pretty cool. But think about it. Before I went, I was looking it up, and I guess that's kind of like where the new young cats are going. Cause I saw like Hassett was up in there.
Know who that is, but okay.
Dwayne Hassett.
Oh, okay. All right. You said that like it was like a mononym or?
There ain't too many Hassets in football, and I just was talking about football.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't even thinking
It's
football
all good.
though.
It's all good.
Thinking like a
more
rapper.
specific. Yeah,
I was thinking like a rapper name.
it should be more specific.
Nah, that's me.
But
That's
they
me
had a
being
few,
single-minded.
like if you go to their website, I mean, they IG, you see like all the people that came through. Like, naturally, your boy Lamar went through. There's a few other cats. I was like, okay, so it's that type of vibe.
Yes.
Before I went down there, but it was cool, man. They have a decent menu. Food's pretty good. Like I said, the vibe was pretty dope. So I mean, it's kind of funny because like it's almost like a top shelf restaurant, but there's hookah involved.
Yes.
It's always a hookah.
Bro.
A hookah is never too far away, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Never too far.
We was in there. I was like, man, hookah is definitely involved in here. But it's like you could tell like the black, I guess executive chef, young cat, or at least he looked young. The food comes out and it's prepared like, you know what I'm saying, like those upper echelon type deals. So it
So you telling me he sprinkled parsley on the wings?
yeah, man. and by the way, the wings were pretty good.
Got a little parsley on
try
the wings, man.
Yes.
Try the wings.
You know it's fancy when they sprinkle some parsley on the wings.
I feel like the wings were so good. My man ordered another. It was like, man, that shit was good, bro. I gotta get another one.
All right. And you said that was Victory Lounge.
Lounge and restaurant and lounge.
Okay.
It's right outside of Wynwood. Right outside. It's not in Wynwood, but it's like in that little section.
Okay.
Right
have to
the east of it. But
me and Zoo might have to slide down there. Hey Zoo, man, you gotta leave. Get your butt over here, man.
Yeah.
When Louisiana off of lockdown and Florida off of lockdown, get your butt back over
he
here.
Back in
man.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah, he been back over there.
Last I checked, he was doing his thing in the Oak.
Oh, it's been some years then.
Yeah.
He moved out there. I think he was out there when I got married. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
For sure.
But other than that, man, you know, did a little same people had like a little house party on the 4th, so I went by, checked that out. But other than that, man, just been chilling.
All right, bet that. All right, so last week or so, what we have? We had the 4th of July, as you just said. So what I do that day? I'm an adult, folks. I got up and mowed the yard.
Yes.
I seeded the grass. You know what I'm saying? Watered the lawn. I barbecued. You know, I had a nice little spread at that time too. I ain't buy no bubble burgers. I actually made my own patties. They was like this thick.
It's no point to do it.
Yeah.
Just make your own burger, man.
I made my own
If you're gonna
patties.
barbecue, make your own patties.
Made my own patties. I actually sliced out like lettuce, tomatoes, and onions this time. Had a little spread for the people. Not just, you know how it be at the barbecue. You get the burger. It's a burger, and maybe you got some cheese on there. And then it's going on the buns. So now I made sure to have the lettuce, tomatoes, the onions. I had the whole spread, man. I wanted to put some effort into the production there. And then the day before that, I got my hair locked up, man. So now I'm in the little ugly stage in my dreads. So hopefully y'all see them when they get right. But right now, if you're watching, you see the do-rag.
I didn't think they look too bad, man.
No, but they haven't locked yet, so they still just like twists. They got to grow out, and I know what the ugly stage looked like from 2 years ago when I did it. So it get all poofy and stuff, and then before right when you're ready to cut them off, that's when they decide to actually lock up, and then the poofiness goes away and stuff. So I'm at the very early stage of the ugly phase. So yeah, man, that's been my week, 2 weeks.
Good deal, man. How's the little one?
Little one is good, man. I'm getting active, so just running around, creating, just being one. So he's getting into everything, man. Pulling books off the bookshelf, pots out the cabinet, climbing on everything, including the dog. It's love, man. It's love. So, and anniversary. Celebrate my 3-year anniversary on July 1st. So that was also and I celebrated that by almost flooding the house. While trying to fix the toilet. The toilet was broke, and then I fixed it. That little valve that's right there by the wall. Yeah. So I fixed it, and I went to put some people had a rack that goes over the toilet. Okay. I tried to put that back, but I forgot to put it back, then connect the hose. Yeah. So I go to turn the valve off, go to disconnect the hose, and the water's coming through the valve, and I'm like, okay, this ain't right, because it didn't do that when I turned it off before. Okay. So water's coming out, so I tighten it a little bit more. Water still coming out, and then more water starts coming out, and I'm like, shit. So then I tried to tighten it more, then it just completely broke. So now it's just full stream of water coming out that fucking valve.
So the valve actually broke on you.
Yeah. So it was like, I guess when I closed it to fix it, that was like the last close that it had. Cause it was flowing. I had to scream to the wife and get her out of bed and tell her, hey, like, put your finger over the hole or whatever.
Did you cut the water?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about to the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Told her like, hey, come in here and get this shower before we be swimming in this thing. Yeah. And so she came in there. She was holding the hose, and I had to slip slide all throughout the house. I almost fell about 4 times. get outside, cut the main off to it. Then I go back in. The entire bathroom was not the entire thing, but a good portion of it was the floor. I can't say how high it was, but everything was wet. The rug was wet up to her chair, vanity chair. The kid in there just splashing in the water. He in there. So that when you ask how is he, that's how he is. He in there. I'm pissed off that, on the anniversary I decided to fix something and then this what happened. But he in there having a good time. So
the reason I brought up cut out the water because I had to do something. Like the faucet in the tub is leaking, and in order to you got to cut the water.
Yep.
To do that, and in order to do that, they got to cut the water to the whole building.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to
a little different when you're in a condo. Yeah.
Because I was like, well, when I looked it up, they were like, it could be in that closet where all the AC stuff is, and I was like, well, could you have someone come over here and show me which one it is?
Yep.
And they was like, well, if you need to cut the water, we're going to have to cut the water to the whole building, so you're going to have to put it. I was like, God damn.
The people below you on the 3rd floor, so the people 2 floors beneath you definitely appreciate it. Because if not,
yeah. Well, apparently that happened already. Like that AC unit was leaking at one point.
Yeah.
And I didn't know because I never go in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So hey, get somebody out here. Because if you're on the 3rd floor and you have a leak, so does the 2nd and 1st floor, and you rather cut it off momentarily to fix it than to leave it on and everybody be having issues. So, but yeah, man. So yeah, kind of all over the place with the last 2 weeks, but I'm here, man. Yeah. I survived. Yeah. That toilet is fixed. Fixed all that shit that night, man.
That's all that really matters, man.
His hands work.
As long as what you set out to do, you accomplished it.
His hands work. Had to buy a new valve, put a new valve on there, so made it happen.
Good deal, man. Well, when I had the same issue, I know who to go to.
Yeah, hit me up. Hit me up. Make sure you got the key to turn the water off.
Oh yeah, baby, we can cut that out. With that said, I guess we can jump into the drink of the week. We're gonna be a little more sophisticated. We're gonna go with a little bit of Cabernet, Sauvignon.
I don't know. Sauvignon?
Sauvignon.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
That red. I thought you said sorbet. I said, well, you got dessert?
No.
About dessert?
I don't do the sweet shit. By Freak Show, I really like the bottle. The bottle looked. I mean, not the bottle. The label.
Hey, shout out to that wine opener. That was the most efficient wine opener I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I got an electric one.
Yeah, baby. Sometimes this is probably my best expenditure on a wine opener.
Looked like it was out the movie Saw, but whatever. Who we drinking this out of? We drinking this out of Tall Boys?
Yeah, shit, bro. COVID cost me my wine glasses.
Look, how you draw that relation, but okay.
I've had these wine glasses for about 5-6 years, and in a matter of about 2.5 weeks, in that first 6 weeks of COVID, I managed to bump them off tables, one a week, and I'm cleaning up glass for a week.
So you knocking stuff over, you blame it on COVID. Did you have COVID when you knocked them out?
I didn't have any issue prior to COVID. I guess because I wasn't drinking as much. But COVID came around, and
sound like whiskey came around, but all right.
That too. But
sound like whiskey or wine came around. Make sure you give me the right cup, man. Give me that cup with that.
But what happened was
Cabernet.
I end my night with the wine, and so I already be a few in.
Appreciate you.
I had my dinner, and then I pour the wine, and so I'll be ready to go to bed, and then just so happen
Ivy is way more sophisticated than me because I'll just take 2 shots of whiskey out the bottle and then just go about what I need to do for the day. You actually settling in. You probably light a cigar and. You got dimmers in here. You dim the lights.
I don't dim the lights, but I do use as much. Natural light as possible. It gets dark as a motherfucker. Then I start turning on.
You dim the light. You got a leather, a leather aged sofa chair somewhere. It's a bust of somebody in here somewhere. Who you got a bust of?
I don't have no. See now he got
Who you got a bust of? Cigar bars always got a bust of somebody. So who do you have a bust? And for those that don't know, a bust is like a statue of like the chest up.
I guess I do need to find one of those. But
Yeah.
cheers, my brother.
There you go. I wasn't done getting jokes off, man.
I was trying to get past it.
Yes.
I wasn't done, man. This is a 30 pack, man. This is a 30 plus 1.
I knew you had them. That's why I was like,
moving on. He over here hitting the button. We're going to hit. Oh, shit, wrong one. We're going to usher in the next topic here. So what you been listening to, man?
So I guess we started off with.
I'm laughing at.
So Jack Harlow, I think I brought this up a couple weeks back, but he got a remix came out to that What's Poppin'. I really like that What's Poppin'. But I like Lil Wayne's little part on it. Your boy actually went hard as well.
Who's my boy?
What's the guy from Toronto, but not Drake?
Party Next Door.
Not him.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez. Tory
Okay.
Lanez went hard too. Tory Lanez went hard on that sucker too.
Is that song that on the piano? Did he remix that one?
I think so. Yeah. The one where you say new whip just hopped in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that came out, I guess, around 4th of July.
That beat? Zaytoven?
I don't know. I think that came out right around 4th of July weekend. The remix.
Okay.
And the second one is, I guess, a previously unreleased track of one of Pop Smoke's with Pusha T. Paranoia.
Ugh. I didn't even do him justice right. Ugh.
That nigga. Ugh. I know it's not technically out, but that nigga Pusha rode that fucking beat.
Woo. What he say about the patois? He said something about the patois.
Dude, I didn't listen to that shit for about 15 minutes, like back to back. Just his verse, like, man, this nigga is ripping this shit.
It was not Zaytoven. It was Jetson. Jetson made it. The baby producer. He killed that shit. I love that beat. That beat is fire. I know the baby had that in the stash. He was like, man, nah, hold that for me. But Jack killed it, so I'm glad they gave it up. I've been listening to Pop Smoke. Album came out. Good album. Number 1. Pop Smoke went number 1. So we'll give him some. Oh damn. Sorry, Pop. Give him some applause for going number 1, man. Rest in peace. Rest in power, King Pop Smoke. Went back, doubled back on Sci-Hi. No Dope on Sundays.
Okay. Yeah.
And The Imperfect Storm, man, with Wale. I actually like that project a lot, man. It's interesting. He's putting like they're more upbeat kind of. I don't want to say go-go beats, but they're more upbeat kind of selections of music. But he's talking about like deeper topics. So he's talking like social injustice over like upbeat go-go kind of dance vibes. Wale.
Okay.
Yeah, the Imperfect Storm EP. Yeah, the Imperfect Storm EP. So those been what I've been playing, man. And No FNs by Trap Hamilton. Shout out to my dog.
Yes.
Trap Hamilton. We're still bumping that.
Yes,
I actually like that project, man. So check it out.
All right,
man. Let's get into it.
Well, we got one more hot taker of the week. Half truthers of the week. I'll go ahead. I'll get started. I think you would like this one. As far as my hot taker of the week is the young man Nicky Daniels Jr. out of Shreveport, Louisiana. He's the young man that's the head of the Sleepers for the Rich Gun Club that was at a protest last week to protect the Black Lives Matter protests that were threatened by the opposing protesters. I think the week before. They came out with their guns showing, so they came out to kind of combat that energy.
Okay.
And he kind of went viral the week he was on TV, did a couple of interviews. I know he was on CNN with Cuomo on the 6th. So shout out to that brother, another Louisiana man doing this thing. And I instantly thought of you because I was like, I retweeted it and I was like, West Palm Beach chapter?
Oh,
Yes.
You didn't at me, did you?
I don't think I actually.
Okay.
But I don't know. Did I? I don't think so.
You didn't at me.
I thought you would have seen it though. That was
You didn't at me.
I did because I was like West Palm. Yeah, I think I put like the question marks on it.
Nah, I didn't see that, man. I haven't really been on Twitter this week. Surprisingly, I've been trying to take a little break from the.
So I would say go
phone.
check it out. He's on TI, like on IG.
Okay.
TI has him, like him and 50 both kind of put him in their like IGTV. It's like kind of they did, kind of like what 50 did my boy.
Wait, so what's his You said his name. What's his name?
Nicky Daniels Jr.
Now you're making me want to see what the hell you posted. All right, Nicky Daniels
Jr.
Jr.
on Shreveport. You have any?
Shreveport. I got no hot taker, but for half truther, call Mr. Terry Crews.
Okay.
Call Mr. Terry Crews to the front, to the altar. I'm not going to stick to anything specific that he's been saying because he's been saying a lot of things that I don't understand why. But to Terry Crews and the people that think like Terry Crews and feel the need to kind of speak on the topic of Black Lives Matter by pulling in the conversation of black on black crime, like.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute as well.
Yeah. Like, stop. Like, you don't have to. It's like we take one step forward, but then it's almost like you bring in a discussion that one is unrelated, right? Black Lives Matter, and we'll get to. You want to just get? Do we want to just go there, or do we want to? It's Terry Crews. There's been a few people. There's a few people that echo that kind of same sentiment, but he was the one. He was on with Don Lemon. I believe he did another interview, and he basically doubled down on the stuff that he was getting killed for on Twitter. So I just, I don't know if he feels like he has to, but I just think, what Terry is saying is literally, it's the literal. If you say half truther, literally. Yeah. He is a literal half truther, right? It's like he will say a great statement 1 minute, and the next minute say something to contradict it. So it's almost like you can only take 50% of what he's saying at a time seriously. You know what I'm saying? So and I like Terry Crews. You know what I'm saying?
In general,
brother, yeah, from Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? I up until this point, I've had no reason. I don't dislike him as a result of this. I just think that, hey, man, like sometimes you have a thought or a concept, and even if he's right, yeah. It detracts from, and it gives folks on the opposing team ammo, right? And it gives them a token black person so that when they're talking to a regular black person, they can say, well, he agrees and he thinks this and he thinks that. Mm-hmm. But we're not talking about that right now.
Sound like your girl Candace Owens, who I guess over the last week.
Yeah, I don't even want to mention her.
She claimed racism in the last week.
But it's like it's one thing, speak pro the movement, mm-hmm. right? And anything that you have to say counter that could possibly be considered counter to that, table that. Table your black on black crime discussions for the town halls where we're discussing black on black crime, right? But Black Lives Matter is not discussing black on black crime. It's discussing systemic issues, systemic mistreatment of marginalized people, specifically black people.
Yes.
Right? Cops who are supposed to protect us when we're not doing crimes are killing us. You can't refute that or say, hey, for that cop not to kill us, we should stop killing ourselves, or we should stop committing crimes in our own community. Like, two things can be true. That is also true, but that's another discussion. So him and people like him, man, they are the half-truthers to me this week.
Yeah, and I think I guess we just go ahead and run right into that one because I think it just makes more sense. But that leads right into kind of that same talk, and I guess he got the talking points from these folks that over the last week since the 4th of July, there was a spike in violence over the weekend. I want to say like 85 people got shot or killed in like Chicago or something like that. Another high number in New York. And specifically, there were like 4 kids that got caught up in the crossfire and died. I think an 8-year-old girl in Atlanta, and an 11-year-old boy in DC, and a 7-year-old boy in Chicago. That off top of my head that I can recall, but and so
prayers and condolences to the families of those individuals.
Definitely. And I think that kind of goes back in what you was talking about earlier about Terry, and he was talking about bringing up the black on black violence, and it's just like, I think in that instance I kind of disagree in the sense that it's totally has no, it's totally different issues, because I still feel like, if you address the systematic issues, a lot of those things will take care of itself. Because a lot of it is about opportunity or the lack thereof, And also, and we kind of mentioned this in pre-production when we was like, at the end of the day, during the summertime, violence goes up. Period. It just so happened at the beginning of this year, we've been on lockdown, which ironically the deaths in the country have been completely lowered because of that.
Raised by COVID, but whatever.
Well, I mean,
you talking deaths like from crime? Yeah,
crime, crashes, all that is significantly down.
Yeah, if everybody's inside, yeah, it makes sense.
And now people are kind of outside now. So in that instance, I guess my issue with that was I feel like they're trying to distract from what we're trying to accomplish, or what the Black Lives Matter movement is trying to accomplish by saying, well, now are you going to take on this, the killing of young kids? And it's like, the killing of anyone is bad, kids especially, but, I just don't want to be, this touched me this week just because I don't want these so-called advocates to, or lose our focus by trying to like inundate us with more and more responsibilities.
Okay. All right. So I'll say this, right? First of all, first and foremost, I'll say Ricky Smiley's daughter was shot as well in Dallas. She didn't die. She was shot though, I think twice. Shit. So Ricky Smiley, being a frat brother, Q Dogs, was with you, dog team. So I'm glad that she was doing all right and had surgery, and she's resting up and recovering right now.
That's crazy.
But that aside,
she just graduated. Is that the young one? Yeah. I know she just graduated.
Yep.
One of our coworkers' daughter was friends with her at the school.
Okay. Yeah, that's her. I think her name's Erin. So I'll say this. I'm almost certain, I said this in pre-production, if you were to trend crimes versus time of the year, right? I guarantee you there's a spike in most major cities around Memorial Day, around Labor Day, around 4th of July weekend, around spring break. Why? Because people are out, people are drinking, people are, having a good time, and and having a good time, people, partake of substances. You know what I'm saying? People aren't necessarily of sound mind.
I like to call them party favors.
There you go. People on these party favors out here, man. I'm almost certain if you go to the trailer park, that statistic is still the same. Guaranteed Jimbo. There's a couple Jimbos that got shot this past weekend as well.
And that's the other misnomer about black on black crime. We kind of mentioned that again. They don't say nothing about white on white crime, but 85% of all crimes that happen to white people is by a white person.
Newsflash: black on black crime is not a thing.
No,
crime is crime.
Yes.
Right? Crime is crime. Like, you call it black on black because, and it's the only one. Like, I don't hear Hispanic on Hispanic. I don't hear white on white. I don't hear Asian on Asian. Middle Eastern on Middle Eastern, Muslim on Muslim. I don't hear any of this. Black on black was the only one, and I have to ask, why? And why we won't get into that discussion right now, right? But crime is crime. crime generally happens in a close proximity of a community, right? So when you start talking, if you want to call it white on white crime, like a high, white collar crimes with people laundering money and insider trading and all that shit don't happen in the hood, does it? Right? And these are the guys that are funneling millions and millions of dollars and misappropriating funds all the time. But that happens in the environment where that is available, one, and two, and where people have the ability to do so. When you start talking, whatever, I won't even go down that path. But it's not a thing. Crime is crime. If you happen to live in a mixed community, right, and there was a string of break-ins, like my car was broken into, and I would describe it as a predominantly white neighborhood. What is that? What do you call that? That wasn't black on black crime. That was just a string of break-ins and cars happened, and I happened to be in that neighborhood and happened to get got. It just is what it is. So this whole idea, I hate that we don't do it, but
no.
Somebody out there, the powers that be, try to use that as a stat to discredit, these communities, and it's not really a thing. If you live in a low impoverished part of town, there are black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people in that same community, right? But for some reason and again, I say we, but the narrative around that focuses only on the black to black kind of interactions, that negative interactions there. So I think, this whole thing is in the political sense, in the political world, they would call it like mudslinging. It's just deliberately trying to discredit and slander, the opposition. So a bunch of right-wing people are basically using this as a metric to discredit, anything that people on the left or black people, minorities, are trying to do. I don't see the validity in it, right? Because they never normalize the data. They never show that, hey, what if you go to a community that's predominantly white, right, and impoverished, so like a trailer park, what's going on over there, right? Are black people going in there and committing crimes, or are the crimes being committed also the people of that community? Because
I think they already know that. That goes in that 85%.
That's what I'm saying, is that they're not, but they don't want to talk about that.
I mean, but
they turn a blind eye to that, and they just say like, oh yeah, well, Asians are robbing Asians in Koreatown. Oh, go figure. Go fucking figure.
Yeah.
It is what it is, bro. And it's not specific to black people. And I hate that, that term even exists to try to make it seem like there's a inherent problem in our community when it's not. There's crime. There's crime in every community, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, and I think, it's another bigger narrative in the sense that that's how it's been projected, over the last 100 years, where it's been like, what you see on TV, on the night in the news, you see the black man in haircuffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just project.
Even though he did nothing wrong, and that the cops got the wrong guy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could happen too.
I saw that a couple times last week.
Yeah, that could do it too. But he's forever branded with that scarlet letter of, but I saw you on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to that book, The Scarlet Letter.
Yes.
But, I that upsetted me at the beginning of the week just because it was like, we can't lose focus. Like, you accomplish more by, going after the bigger fish. And the bigger fish is systemic issues. Because that, I hate the word trickle down, but that would trickle down if we, like, for instance, like the last topic we talked about on the last podcast about defunding, how could defunding the police look as far as like addressing social issues and schooling in that area with those funds. That's one of the issues in lower impoverished communities. The schools aren't that good.
Yep.
So if you can get the funding up and better fund those schools and make them be more safe and have more programs to address, issues in that. Because like sometimes It's just a matter of the students not being pushed, and they bored.
Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's that people, don't make as much, so they got to work 2 and 3 jobs. So, the importance of having an after-school program. I had to go to after-school care, at a younger age before my mom remarried. You know what I'm saying? Because she out working 2 and 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? So if you could put a program in place to where the kids can stay after, mom can work to provide, and the kids can stay after in a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? Whether you be teaching them curriculum or crafts or skills, trades, sports, whatever, it keeps them occupied. It keeps them out of, what do old people say? Idle time is the devil's workshop.
Yeah,
it eliminates that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So those funds go a long way. And definitely help to, the kids that show, a strong, what am I looking for? A strong, abilities academically, right? They can, hey, we got this program for you. Maybe we enter you into an essay competition or something like that, and they can hone in on that. The kids that are athletically gifted, hey, afterwards come over here and we're running full court basketball, whatever, or flag football, and you can cater to their strengths, right? And build those strengths outside of, and then you can also feed them, maybe kids are hungry, put some money there where a kid can, come in and read a book and also get like an afternoon snack before dinner, before he goes home, if he even has dinner when he goes home, or he or she. So the funds, could definitely be repurposed, and we can find a use for them. And we can find a use and a way to improve, the lives of a lot of people. It's
just a matter, as far as like the defunding, and we'll get off this, but the defunding police is just a bad term, phrase. Maybe it just not.
How about reallocate? Reallocate funds.
You know what I'm saying? Because like defund just seems like, oh, you're just not gonna fund the police.
Or how about you listen to the sentence that comes after the phrase defund?
Yes.
Like,
we want to defund the police. You mean you want to take all the money away?
But then that'll go like in one of my half truthers of the week. That'll go right into the people that's against Black Lives Matter. Like, you haven't listened, have you? Or the people that was against Kaepernick, what he was kneeling for. You weren't listening, were you? You just decided to you just decided to determine the narrative for yourself instead of listening to what is actually being said, why it's being done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, shout out to Humble the Poet. I'm still reading his book. I should have been done with it because it was like the first book in my book club, but whatever. I'm still reading it, and I just passed a chapter that was basically, it talked about beliefs, personal beliefs. And it's like, I'll paraphrase it, and I'm probably going to do a bad job. But it was saying like, he had a section in that chapter where he was like, anybody that is offended that you believe or you question their belief, like their belief is them, that's their identity, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so they identify as this belief, they take equity in this belief, like it's a part of them. So they struggle when you challenge it, right? It's almost like you're challenging their integrity. It's almost like you're challenging them personally, and it's like, not necessarily, and I read that and I'm like, okay, I like that, because it's a lot of stuff is passed down, man. I look at it, there's a bunch of stuff that I was taught growing up that I'm like, I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to be able to separate yourself from the thing and say, like, if it's a bad idea or a bad method or a bad teaching, you got to be able to be presented new information and say, like, hey, that worked in this environment and I don't see how it serves me anymore, so I'm going to let that go. Right? And I'm going to grow and be of a, open to new information and new methods and technologies. Did I say technologies twice?
Yeah, probably.
There, Cabernet, you smelling over here, man. What they putting in shit? Weed? There's THC in here, boy. I'm high as hell. But no, you just got to be open to more information, man, and be able to change and not, adhere yourself to traditions that potentially have been passed down for generations.
I agree in the sense that I feel like religion goes into that.
It does.
Hand in hand.
It absolutely does.
Because like there's certain conversations people just would shut down because it's like, the pastor say.
Abomination.
Yes.
Pastor say. It's like, all right, man. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I definitely
don't take me down that path. And I'm a preacher's child's child, so.
Yeah. So I agree. But with that said, I guess
We be agreeing too much on this podcast.
hey, bro,
It's very agreeable come to disagree.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna definitely get there. But going back
we'll
to
see.
my half takers of the half truthers of the week.
Yeah,
blame it
it's
on the freak
definitely
show.
weed in this wine.
Yeah.
He's stumbling over himself over there.
Blame it on the freak show. I'll start off with David Nielsen and Nicole Anderson, Martinez, California. These two assholes were the ones that defaced the Black Lives Matter painting on the streets in Martinez, California.
Stupid.
Yeah, very stupid. They got arrested for vandalism.
Stupid.
But they kind of piggybacking off what we said earlier, they have their own narrative and that their beliefs that they don't want to listen to what's going on. And they out there spewing nonsense about all lives matter and this, that, and the third. I mean, it was online. It was online, and I just couldn't believe it. But I would say the biggest thing about it, I felt like David was a coward. Like, if anyone should have been doing the actual painting and anyone should have been doing the videography of it, he should have been the one doing the painting, not his woman. His woman should have been the one shooting the video. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, there's a part of that she could have been the only one that got charged because she's the only one that actually did the painting over a few of the letters. But that's definitely one of the half truths of the week in the sense that
What were they expecting to gain from that?
Man, I think that was like the second person that did that.
I don't even like her method. I love her method because she was literally painting over the exact shape of the words.
Yes.
So when you finish,
It's gonna be black.
it still says Black Lives Matter, but
black.
in black.
Yes.
So I watched that. I actually laughed at that. At first, it was like I'm upset, and then when I realized like you're tracing inside the letters,
basically, yeah. See,
I'm like, you
that's how you know.
stupid.
That's how you
You're
know.
a bit stupid.
That's how you know they had a few party favors before they got.
Yeah,
out there.
I'm like, she's stupid. And because I was like, I'm upset with the people. I'm like, the people watching. I'm like, why don't y'all stop them? Like, stop them from doing this. And then I'm like, oh, she's literally coloring inside the lines here.
Yeah.
So if you zoom out, it's just gonna say Black Lives Matter in black. It's
yeah.
still clearly distinct. Stands out from the color of the road. I'm like, oh, okay. So at the end of the day, it really isn't a loss. It's just you display how ignorant and unempathetic you are
exactly.
to what's going on out here. So I saw an interesting quote that on Twitter. One of the things that I have taken from Twitter this week.
Okay.
And it was a screenshot from somebody, but it basically said that some people can't imagine that they are the villain in somebody else's story. Yeah. And that's what this reminds me of. Like that was kind of a profound statement. And it's like you don't get to tell somebody who's the villain in their experience. And that's what this is to me. This is us telling you, like, hey, we have been the victims of mistreatments. And I'm putting that lightly, right? Yeah. Historically, historical mistreatments. And here you are telling us that, oh, no, that person or that system or whatever, that organization wasn't that bad. Yeah. You don't get to tell me what I experienced.
Like one of the topics we're going to talk about later.
Stupid ass.
They have a group that proliferate more.
That is not a word.
Proliferate.
Proliferate. You be making shit up. I'm gonna start calling your ass out.
All right, man.
Are you saying proliferate or per? Pro. All right. So proliferate is a word.
Yeah.
Increase rapidly in numbers.
Increase the number of Confederate statues. Basically, part of their platform is that slavery wasn't that bad. But anyway, my second half truth of the week is Senator Kelly Loeffler out of the great state of Georgia, Republican. She was appointed to that seat by the governor earlier this year. She'll be running for that seat in the fall. But she's co-owner of the WNBA team in Atlanta, where earlier this week she wrote a letter of opposition to the Black Lives Matter movement, and specifically Black Lives Matter being, I guess, printed on the court on the restart of the WNBA season. And in it, she mentioned that a few of the reasons were, and again, this goes back to people not listening, but somehow or another, she found that the movement backed the removal of Jesus from the church. Not to mention, I guess, because they've incorporated the LGBTQ movement into that movement as a whole. She mentioned something about the nuclear family structure. I guess that's where the gays be able to adopt kids. She doesn't like that. But at the end of the day, she's my half truth of the week, in the sense that she, again, she's another one of these individuals who don't listen to what's going on. She's been thus since then, she's been, admonished, and players have come out that they want the league to force her to sell. There's been people that came out that said they would like to buy her share in the team. And I just think, sometimes it's about reading the room. And as a white woman in Atlanta, or a white woman that owns a team in Atlanta, I think you need to read the room and shut the fuck up. Moving on.
I didn't disagree, so I didn't say anything. Shout out to the Atlanta Dream. WNBA teams. They mascots is Chicago Sky. Hey, come on, man.
Yeah, that's different. I know
they're
trying
like
to say
Chicago wind.
Skyline.
It's known for the wind.
Yeah.
Known for being cold. You know what I'm saying? Chicago Sky. The Mystics. All right.
That's going
what we
on.
got next, man? Is this mic on? Because I'm over here tapping shit.
No, it's not. Let's go to that red table talk, man.
Oh, you want to get to
Yeah,
it?
let's go and get in there.
You want to get right to it? Okay. Let's do.
I guess we pull up again for in honor of the red table talk. Some red.
Yeah, we drinking red wine. So yeah, man. So I guess I'll segue us into this. So actually, there's no segue. August Alsina went on some interview with Angela Yee. August Alsina, an interview with Angela Yee, basically. Yeah, he kissed and told, man. Yeah. So told Angela Yee that his involvement with Jada Pinkett Smith, he had a relationship in which he fully gave himself to somebody, whatever that may mean to the listener, and that he had the permission to do so from this person, being Jada Pinkett Smith's husband, Will Smith. So once that was out, that became all the blaze. That was all over Instagram, Twitter, social media, media headlines. They were talking about it on the Breakfast Club, all over the place. Everybody was talking about it. So Jada, posts a very, I guess it's foreshadowy, tweet that like her table needs to be set or something like that, in the most Jada-esque way, alluding that, she's going to bring herself to the table, causing, Black Twitter to go crazy with that meme of Jada at the table with Jada. So we were lucky enough. We're recording this on Saturday, July 11th. That yesterday, Jada and Will Smith both posted their red table talk for this topic.
Yeah.
In which Jada confirmed an entanglement.
Yes, she did. Yeah, she did.
With
Yes.
Sir August Alsina. Amongst other things that happened during that discussion. So I want to, set the table, if you will, before we just dive right into this and pick your brain on a few things dealing with this situation here. First and foremost, let's start with August.
Okay. Homeboy.
Yes.
Aug. And first of all, like you, all right. So you step outside of our marriage, and you gonna refer to this dude with a pet name, with his nickname?
Oh, Og. She called him that?
Yeah, Og, Augie. Like don't call him by his pet name, y'all little cute name that you came up with him for. But so let's start with Mr. Alcina. Mm-hmm. Okay? What is why did he do this? Why do you think he did this?
He hurt. He hurt. He wanted more out of it. And from what I can get out of that interview with Jada and Will, she cut it off, and then he didn't want to talk no more. Like, I guess she was trying to, get some type of closure in the sense that maybe not, no more sex, but, make sure everything's good. And he didn't want to respond to that. And so at this point, it's been probably 2-3 years since then, or at least 2 years since that. And he's hurt. Like, he missed Miss Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
And I guess it also don't hurt that he has an album coming out.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't think this was you think this was more so him just literally being vulnerable in that interview, and it wasn't.
I said I don't know about that.
So that's what I'm asking. Do you think that was genuine, or do you think that was a clever marketing tool to draw some attention, impressions, traction to his project?
I think holistically, majority wise, I think he was just as a marketing tool. But I do think he wanted to get off his chest how he felt, and also kind of get some, hey, we weren't just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, bro, that shit, I don't think it's coincidence that he had an album dropping. You know what I'm saying? Like, what could I do? And I'm feeling some kind of way, and so that was like the worst kept secret of, that period when they were around each other a lot. I think everyone kind of was like, is August knocking that down? Do they really do have an open relationship? You know what I'm saying? Because like that was been the scuttlebutt for probably the last 10 years of the Smiths. That they have an open relationship. He does his thing with whoever. She does her thing. It just, we're not going to let it break us up. But it seemed like from that interview that this was like a real separation with them, that when this relationship happened. Like they didn't like each other.
So is that... Okay. And that leads... I have another question from that. It's unrelated to August. Is that an open relationship?
That don't sound like an open relationship. That sound like they were... Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't... Like, the scuttlebutt was they did. This situation seemed like they were in...
Will said he done with her ass. He said, I was done with... I like how Will was getting his shit off respectfully, though. You know what I'm saying? Will was like, nah, I was done with your ass. I was done. I was fed up. Because, Will been jumping out of planes and helicopters and shit. And on top of that building in France.
But all that happened after this. After they got back together, though.
Did it?
Yeah. Because they said that was like 2-3 years ago.
But, okay.
So that would mean like the last year and a half, all that shit, what he was doing.
I think this shit's been going on for the past couple of years.
That shit on top, in that French, when he was doing that,
yeah.
Or whatever. That was afterwards. At least from what I think, the time frame that they were giving out.
Okay. All right. I know
like
when he posted it, but I don't know when it actually was recorded.
Like, for instance, I would imagine it was like
they never said
17, 18 when it ended. Sometime in that time frame. Like from what I got, because they said 2-3 years ago.
When did they say? I didn't hear them put a number to it. I heard them say it's been years.
I think It was in. Well, maybe I'm projecting.
I'm talking about what I heard him say. I didn't hear him say.
Maybe I'm
number,
projecting.
but I heard him say this was. They made like blanket comments like this is old. It's been years, right? Which would imply like 2 years. But Will just got active on Instagram like within the last 2 or 3 years.
Because I think that was going on. Like all this shit has happened since I've been in Florida. I've been in Florida like 5 years. I think
they were very clear about it was like 2016 when August like came to them and was like trouble. But I don't know. And I think it was they were going through the issues. But it's been like I want to say Will got active on Instagram about 3 years ago. If we go back to his first post, his initial post, I guarantee that was 2016, 2017. It's probably around the same time.
I'm thinking 17. I'm thinking end of 17, 18, early 18.
Okay.
I don't think it's been 3 years. I don't think it's been 3 years. I think it was like end of 17, 18 when he started.
Okay. All right, so
I think at that point they had worked through their issues. And at that point, he was like, how can I interact with the fans more and be more interactive? But, you know, I told you before, I don't think this is anyone's business but theirs. It's
yeah, but we're going to talk about it because this hot takes a half truths. You feel me? You feel me? So
but I think he was doing, you know, as far as August is concerned, I feel there's a bit of caught chasing there, man. Because like this shit's old, bro. Like, you know, it'd be different if it was 2018 and it just happened. I could really feel him then at that point because you would be in the midst of it. I think 2 years later, man, you didn't work through that shit.
Should've.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that boy Nookie whoop, man. That boy Nookie whoop, boy. You know how it go when you get that good. You ain't never had that before. You know what I'm saying? Is you know.
I don't know, man. He should have had that before.
Nah, man. He ain't never Jada. He ain't have a Jada before.
I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded, but
yes.
You wish you was. You wish
jaded,
you were.
Maybe I'm jaded, but it just really at this point in my life is like whether or not you have feelings for the person or not, real feeling.
Yeah, you wish you was jaded. I see what you tried to do there. You ain't been jaded. He ain't been jaded. He's jaded now.
I've never been jaded. You mean? But maybe I'm jaded in that instance. But yeah. I don't know. I think he's overreacting. I think
Hey, Will post too much, man. Trying to get to the bottom of this. I've been scrolling since we said that shit.
I know.
I'm only at January 2019.
You trying to get to the bottom of it.
I am. I'm trying to go back to.
I think it'd probably be faster to Google when he first got on IG. Because it was big. It was a big, like, oh, he finally got in on it.
Yeah, this is crazy. Let me leave the Google page for proliferate. Will Smith starts Instagram.
I mean, what's your take on the shit, though, bro?
I never really been like the kissing and telling shit. You know what I'm saying? That already you already broke a code with that with me. But especially one surrounding the one that sheds light into a relationship that has been as mysterious, has some mystique to it, as the Smith relationship. So
December 2017.
All right, yeah. So like I said, like 3 years.
I said, but like I was saying, the end of 17, 18, like December 18 is 2.5 years, baby.
Okay, so we were both right. So we were both right. You say that shit like I was wrong, but yeah, I told you he been on there for 2 or 3 years.
I was more specific though.
Nigga, we said the same number. What? You said 2 to 3 years. All right, there you go.
Cool.
But
I want my flowers. Baby.
So I didn't like that, right? I didn't like. It didn't seem like they were a part of that rollout. It didn't seem like they were in the loop of that rollout. I'm judging all this by Will Smith's attempt to hide those watery eyes on the red table. I saw that shit, man. He looked like he stubbed his toe. Nah, man. You can't have the pursuit of happiness, watery eyes, in this.
Well, I guess at the same time you got to take into account, they got kids. So
I know they got kids. Will didn't give a damn about them kids when he said he was done with her ass. He was done.
That's true.
He was done.
I get that.
He was done. But I also think it's interesting that he was done. So it makes me wonder, what the hell was Jada doing? What does Jada do to have Will Smith done with her ass? What did Jada do? Because he put up with some shit in The Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? Will done been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? Bad Boys 3? Was that 3 the last one?
Yeah.
That bitch was a witch.
Yes,
so you could be a witch and Will still would stick around. So Jada was worse than a witch. Okay? we gotta get to the bottom of this. Maybe not this episode, but next episode. But so August Alsina, one kissing and telling. Was that the problem with anytime somebody kisses and tells is that that's also somebody else's business that you share. Right? So don't strike me that Jada was on board with this rollout to the album. So I don't agree with it from that sense, right? If you're gonna kiss and tell and the other person is like public with it, then it's like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? But that to me seems like a exploratory period for her, and one where she wanted it to kind of. It seems like they were taking pictures and stuff together. So
they was on the red
I don't
carpet.
want to say that
They were on the red carpet. That's why I was like, it's like almost the worst kept secret. It was like, damn, she showed up to the.
She hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So. So from that regards, it's like I'm torn a little bit because they were doing things publicly and out publicly and seen publicly. So it doesn't strike me. It's like, is he violating if that was the case? If they were out in front of everybody and, now if they're telling everybody like, are y'all here today as a couple? And it's like, nah, we just hanging out. We just kicking it.
And it was that. It wasn't a couple.
So there you go. So he kissed
but
the toe.
But she was doing some stuff. Like she rubbing his chest and stuff a couple times.
Yes.
Oh, my chest rubbed, man. Damn, man. I'm going to go home and get my chest rubbed. Shit.
And it was like,
chest rubbed.
yeah.
I got a nicer chest in August.
Yes.
I did some push-ups the other day.
I got you, buddy.
12 of them.
All right, baby. Hey,
I was
I'm with
shaking
you.
a little bit, but I got through them.
That's hot takers approved, baby.
Yes.
Terry Crews need. I want Terry Crews in the chest verse off the verses.
Oh, really?
T.I. want 50. I want Terry in the chest verses.
I hear you, baby.
I can make one of them bitches move. Yeah. Old Spice, holla at your boy. Once y'all fix y'all deodorant, that should be burning people. But yeah, so August, yeah, that shit ain't cool. You kissing and telling, and then Jada. I feel like Jada was beating around the bush on this, and I feel like Will did his best to get a direct answer, to which he was given entanglement, which I guess the definition. Like this shit was too thought out for me.
Well, I mean, they had a week to think about it.
I get that, but it's like,
and they thought about it.
But that's a red flag. It basically is what I'm saying. There's a red flag there for me because when you can't speak directly to something when asked directly, that tells me that either you're struggling to reveal something, or you're struggling to admit something. Like there's ego. There's still some ego there with me. I'm pressing the table like Jada right now. There's some ego.
Yes.
Ego there for me, right? To where it doesn't feel like she is doesn't feel like she admitted any wrongdoing in that red table talk. It actually feels like she left that taking no accountability and no like if let me put it this way. Had it been Will that was caught doing something that he wasn't supposed to do, black men ain't shit.
Yes.
I told your ass, Will would have been wearing the I told your ass he ain't shit threes. It like these are the conversations that would have been circulating around that red table talk had Will been the one at fault, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
nah. This is too clean. It's too clean to me, bro.
What is it? ThereThere's rules of engagement for each sex, man. Like they get a pass for that.
It's too clean.
Well,
don't
I mean,
get no fucking pass in my opinion.
You didn't think it was gonna be a clean?
I didn't have.
You thought it was gonna get messy with them?
I didn't have an expectation, man. So I can't be. I'm not disappointed. I'm just saying from what she's been able to do with other people. Like, she didn't go into the same depth that she goes in with other people. Right? She didn't get down to the specificity that she gets with other people.
I don't really watch much Red Table, so
I don't either. But I've seen, conversations where it's literally like, what happened? Oh, this happened. Okay, do you see how that was wrong or how this was wrong, right? It was very smoke and mirror-ish for me. And I say that because Will literally said, what the hell happened, Jada?
Yes.
I was in an entanglement. Have you ever heard entanglement before that interview? Used in that context. Or at all? That's a yes or no question.
probably not.
Okay, Jada. You doing the same thing. Have you? You haven't. And it's okay to say you haven't.
I lived a long time, had a lot of conversations. I don't remember them all.
Do you remember any?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not asking you. Can you definitely say that you? But
I can't recall any.
So no, it's okay to say no. Like nobody's gonna Me Too you with this in 5 years. You said you never heard entanglement, but we have evidence from kindergarten. No, nobody's ever used that shit that way. That's a very evasive response, right? She didn't come out and say we had a relationship. She didn't say that they had sex. Well, I think a lot of people were looking for the juice. They're like, okay, August was giving it up. You was getting piped down. She didn't come out and say that, and
I think it was implied though.
A lot was implied. It's very open. It's a very open to interpretation type of response.
And maybe I may be projecting, but I think it was one of those situations where he was at the house. And they were like, she mentioned this on like another Red Table Talk when it was like, you'll be on one side, I'll be on the other side. And it seemed like it was a situation where it was kind of like that, and August was in the house. Because I would imagine that's, August say he got permission. I'd imagine it being some setting like that at the house.
But even that don't make, what does getting permission mean to you? If I'm in this room and you in this room, that ain't permission, bro.
That's foreign to me, man. That's like speaking Mandarin. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So I can't.
But you can give an opinion of it. You can give your interpretation of it. None of this is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. Well, that's a different topic. I'm asking you, what is your interpretation of permission?
What you mean, as far as
if my car keys are sitting in the fucking bowl, and because they're in a bowl in the house,
yep,
and you take my car and go for a drive in it, did I give you permission?
No,
because my car keys were available. Is that permission?
Nope. But I think but that's the difference. He said he spoke to, so then in that instance, that would be me speaking to you. Like, but I asked him, could I use the keys?
Which Will did not agree to.
Hey, apparently.
Which Will said he didn't say. So again, that's what I'm saying. All this is very mysterious, and there's a cloud of how they're discussing
like
it.
They said, but like they said, there's three sides to a story. Your side, my side, and the truth.
Don't put me in this.
I'm just saying, like,
Jada, August,
and the truth.
This 4 sides to this one because you got Will's account too.
I mean, well, in this instance, it's the Smiths, Augie, and the truth.
Yes.
This whole
Augie.
And then it's like, and then Jada. This is what I'm saying. Like Jada is like, well, the only person that can give permission is me. That's another ego play. It is, bro.
It is
like
her,
she can't
bro.
even in the situation that doesn't involve her. It's August saying that Will gave him permission to do whatever he was doing with his wife. Mm-hmm. Oh, the only person that can give permission.
But again, I mean, if you really want to think about it from that perspective, she's the only one that can actually let you have sex with her.
But that wasn't
But that's what you're getting to, though.
No, that's not what I'm getting to. I'm getting to the rumor that Will gave permission.
Okay.
Right? Will says, I never gave permission. And
Okay.
then she deflects and takes the power back is what I'm saying. There's a power play there.
Okay.
Where it's like, Will says, I never that conversation never happened. And then she turns it into a, you know, I don't want to say feminist, but almost like a repurposing of where it's like, oh, so you did some shit and he didn't give his blessing to it, right? That's if that was a man who said that my wife gave permission for me to do this, and then the wife says, I didn't give no permission. That nigga ain't shit, is where that conversation goes from there. Yes. She repurposed that to, oh, well, as a woman, only one person can give permission to enter my vessel.
I get that. I agree.
So that's why I say this is masterful in redirecting the narrative around this. This is masterful. Masterful. Or maybe men are just fucking awful at controlling our own narratives. Maybe maybe we ain't got that much dog in us to fight this.
No, we didn't want to be that.
Yes.
That too. We're like, can we get this shit over with?
I mean, dude, it was the shortest.
I'm in the I got something to do sevens.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it was 13 minutes. Usually they shit is a lot longer than that.
Yeah. But that was telling to me, where it was like, there were a few instances, but that was probably the biggest one where it was like, that's another ego move. That's another moment where ego is coming into play and taking. And I'm not saying that she did that for all of them, because there were a few moments where, you know, where Will was like, where she was like, well, you don't have to get me back. And Will's like, no, I'm going to get you back.
Yes.
Will said, no, I'm going to get you.
And then she tried to deflect, like, all right, you want to go with that petty?
Yeah, if you want to be petty. Yes, I want to be petty.
Yes. Petty.
So I'm not saying she completely tried to absolve herself from any accountability. But there were a few moments where it was very obvious where Jada's like, I'm going to save face and I'm going to maintain some integrity and some power and some, I guess those are the two words that I'm looking for. In this coming out of this situation. And I want to come out of this situation seeming as if that I'm not a villain. You know, I'm a person living and experiencing life, which and to be honest, I agree with that whole shit. I agree that you should be allowed to make mistakes and you should be allowed to learn from your mistakes, right? So I'm not saying that what she did was technically wrong, and again that gets into the right and wrong kind of conversation. You should be allowed to make mistakes and not be fucking like terminated, if you will, from a single mistake, right? It's the perception that I got from a few of her responses that was the like evasion of accountability, though, is what I'm discussing. It's that it came off very like, well, if I want to do this, then it's okay kind of an issue where it's like, not necessarily, right? Because marriage is an agreement and there are rules of engagement, to your point earlier, right? And if Kanye said this on a song, you know, what did he say? There are, it was off of My Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'm gonna remember it, but basically he's like, there are no sins without permission or something like that, right? That was like the lyric.
Yeah.
They're talking about him and Amber, like we can do whatever we want to do if we with it, despite what the world thinks.
Porn Star, I think it's called. Something like, I know that song. That's one of my favorite songs on there.
That was a hard album.
Yes.
That was a hard album.
Yes.
I still run that shit periodically, regularly.
But that's kind of one of those, right? One of those kind of one of those instances where it's like, okay, well, if that's how y'all operate, then cool. But damn, you stepped outside of that, or you didn't have the said blessing that Mr. Alcina said was granted, or at least it wasn't communicated, or maybe it wasn't as direct as August made it seem like it was. He made it seem like y'all, it was sitting aside having coffee, like, hey man, you cool if I do this?
They had dinner.
You do what you want to do.
They had dinner. They sitting out back.
So that's what it was for me. It was like, okay, you
drinking wine. You
stepped out and did something. Just say like, I did something I ain't had no business doing, right? And maybe to Will's point, you know, maybe speak to like Will might have said like, I don't think you should do this, but you did it anyway. Give Will some credit in this situation rather than, trying to do a power play and save face. I guess is what, because clearly you here because of you.
Yeah.
You ain't there because of Will. Y'all at that red table because of Jada and August and Augie. And not because of Will. So shout out to Will Smith, man. I see right now. I hate it. They putting Jada Pinkett face over Future memes. August is just part of her collection now, and Will might be as well. But Will, hold your head, man, and stand strong, and don't let your integrity waver or nothing else. Let the internet have their 5 minutes of fun with it, and then it'll be one of the Kardashians or somebody next week. Who knows? It'll be somebody else.
It's already a Kardashian. His name is Kanye. Yes. With that said, don't be a square. Hit the share, like, love, thumbs up, notifications, subscribe buttons on all our social media platforms, on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook, on the Hot Takes and Have Truth podcast, on IG and Twitter, on the HT Square Pod. And if you're truly new school, old school, you can email us at htsquarepod@gmail.com.
You trying to get out of here?
No. I'm hitting.
We just didn't do that, so we get to it. All right, there you go.
Yeah. I think we need to do it at the beginning, maybe even the middle, and then at the end.
Mid-roll, okay.
Yeah. But
all right, so that song, but before we go, that song was No Church in the Wild. It was on
No Church in the Wild. Yeah, that's Jay-Z.
Watch the Throne. I'm looking at it, and I'm just not saying it. It's Watch the Throne. There is no sins as long as there's permission. So there you go.
All right. Well, with that said, we're going to jump in real quick. As the last week, Jeffrey Epstein's associates got arrested. Her name is Ghislane Maxwell. It should be pretty quickly, but she was arrested in New Hampshire this week. The reason why Ghislane, that's right. Ghislane.
It's like French, so you gotta
Ghislane. But at any rate, I guess this is more interesting because of all the conspiracy theories behind it. Naturally, Jeffrey supposedly had a lot of videos and pictures of very powerful people doing things they shouldn't be doing with underage people, and which is why, as well as potentially some,
as well as Will Smith.
Shit.
There's your segue.
But anyway, if anyone is familiar with the Netflix, or even just the overall theme of what he was doing, the Netflix
allegedly.
At this point.
I meant the Will Smith allegedly.
Yes.
Yes.
Allegedly. But Ghislane, what's his name? Say it again.
It's Ghislane.
Ghislane was actually the person that actually ran the scheme. She was the one that met with the girls, made them feel comfortable, tell them what to do. So she actually
has that been confirmed, or are we just saying that?
Well, that's what the doc says.
Okay,
that's what the doc says, according to the documentary. But for all intents and purposes, not to like mix things up, but Wayne had and this has nothing to do with this story.
Wayne,
but Wayne had a verse. Well, had a bar where he said, "I can get a lot of chickens, but my chicken get me more." And that, when I saw that and when I first heard of it, I was like, that makes sense. Like, a woman can make another woman feel comfortable. And even with myself, that's one of the reasons why I love hanging out with like my homegirls is like when we out at the bar, it's basically both of us like, oh, you wanna, yeah, we can go over and talk to her. And it's always a little easier because she's there. I don't have to, it's not totally like I'm being aggressive from the beginning.
Yeah.
And she got to be on guard. So that made sense to me, because in a less aggressive manner, I've used similar tactics. But she's finally got back into the country since his death. Somehow or another, in his original arrest, she's been involved since the beginning. Just put it like that.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, when he first took the charge for underage prostitution, I think in 2007. She and another Russian model got they charged. Didn't even get charged. He took it for them. Apparently, they didn't have enough to get those two, because apparently she and it was a Russian model that was doing it initially. Afterwards, it was just her, Maxwell. But I find her story interesting because she grew up in France. You know, she had all the right schooling. Her father was media baron with supposed ties to Mossad. They have with saying that essentially he was a Mossad agent. Mm-hmm. And then she has all these ties, and you know he subsequently dies in mysterious ways. And then she has all these ties to these very rich and powerful people. She has pictures with Princess Diana, all types of royals. She's been, you know what I'm saying, she's been invited to the royal palace before. Not to mention, you know, just what she is. But with that said, the reason why I guess I was interested in talking about it, and when I saw you put it on the list, was just, you know, the conspiracy theorists that, you know, they couldn't find her ass for about the last 3 years. But all of a sudden, she just decided, I'm just going to show up in New Hampshire now.
She didn't just show up.
Exactly.
She was
She was advised
Yes.
that it may be wise for her
to turn herself in.
to just go to New Hampshire.
Yeah, in a house, in a home that was purchased cash in another name. She was found in. So she had a shell property. I don't know. And they said, I think they captured her like out just in the woods or something, like hiking. They got her when she was just out and about. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So interesting backstory. I think she was the mastermind, to be honest. I think Epstein, you know, from what I've seen and read and everything, he seems to be more the
Weirdo.
not weirdo, but he seems like I'll give the analogy using Paul Wall and Chameleon there.
Okay.
Yes.
Right? Paul Wall was the person, the people person.
The people champ?
Yeah, Epstein strikes me as, you know, he was charismatic. He was always, you know, pictured with the people. He seemed very, and I don't want this to sound like I like this guy. I don't know him, but a lot of the like pictures and the context in which I've seen him in these documentaries and news articles, whatever, he's always like the guy who can get you what you want. Like he accommodates the other person. He's very accommodating. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he's a connector. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he seems as if like the people person, like, hey, we need to win this person over, you know, like the sales representative, if you will, right? So the person, hey, go rub elbows with this person and we need you to, you know, kind of work them over and get them on board with us, and then, you know, and then let them know what services we offer and then bring them in, right? He seems like that person to me. She seems like, another analogy, Spectre Gadget. The motherfucker in the chair with the metal hand. Was that Claw?
Yeah, I guess
you
so.
Never saw him.
In the MCU, in the MCU, yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, send these motherfuckers to go do my bidding or whatever, and then all you see is the hand doing this with the cat in the lap at the episode. She seems to me like that. Like, they seem to have him kind of, they got a lot of information on him, all these documentaries and stuff. You know, it seems like they've been tracking him for a while. But he seems to be kind of the middle person.
It's a lot of women though. I mean, it's hundreds of women that were girls that were involved.
I don't disagree with that. There's such thing as madams.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There's madams. I don't know them, but I know. Let's just say like
that was a DC madam that got a Louisiana senator in trouble a few years ago.
Yeah, but like that's a. I guess what I'm trying to say is like that like that's not a far-fetched thing.
Nah.
Like that's a thing where like a woman knows that like, sweetie, you can get paid if you just fall in line like this and like it's just a female pimp is all it is for all intents and purposes.
Yes.
Right? So that is a thing. And like everybody, and you even kind of touched on it a little bit. I don't think you said it as probably direct as I'm about to, but like, we said Wayne said it. I can get him, but she could get him quicker, right?
You give me a lot more.
A woman is probably more convincing to a woman to do something like that, right? A man telling you to like use your body or to do this thing, right, is one thing. But if a woman's telling you can get over it, maybe it might be taken a different way, right? It may be a little more convincing is what I'm getting at. So he seems to me to be the, hey, you have a face in this circuit. You see if you could get close to these people and you let me know and I will tell you what we have available.
Yeah. Right?
And I'm looking at the flight log here, and this isn't anything incriminating. It doesn't say who did what, right? But there's some names on here, dog. There's some names, and I ain't gonna Terry Crews myself here. You know what I'm saying? Terry Crews won't see me. It's gonna be versus Tim Swizzy. Holla at me. But it's some big names on here, dog. In the black community, in the white community. CNN, Fox News, music, movies, whatever you talking, late night TV. I'm seeing a little bit of everything in here. Jay-Z's not on here. Just point that out. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Sean? I'm looking for Sean Carter. Ain't no Sean Carter on here. You know what I'm saying? But there's some names on here. So, and again, this doesn't incriminate anybody on this list. It just means that like you had a conversation with this person at some point in time. Now, what you did after that point, we'll wait for the FBI or whoever to bring the facts there. But I'm of the belief.
A long time for that.
Well, sometimes it takes time. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Everything ain't a season of Narcos.
They killed some shit the first time around because the charges was a lot stronger, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, because they had people that wanted to testify.
Against who?
Jeffrey.
Okay.
And then out of nowhere, it went away. Because so that was in the,
it went away.
That's what was in the documentary that like local officials here in Palm Beach were like trying to get, because they had turned into a federal case, and they was trying to like see what's going on, update so they can update the victims, and then after a while, those calls stopped happening. They stopped like the what they call them. Federal attorney, what those federal attorney, district attorney, yeah. Well, federal prosecutors started like, what I'm saying, play them to the left on that.
Look, all I know is,
and then next thing you know, he got the work, the work, what they call it, work furlough deal where he can leave for 12 hours a day and then just sleep there at night.
Yep. Well, all I know is, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Kevin Spacey was accused, and did you know that 3 of his accusers died?
Yes.
And he's tied to these same people.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and like that. I thought that story was a bit. There's red flags going up around that.
It's like
even that video he did as the guy from House of Cards, and
it's hard to believe in those type of coincidences.
Yeah. Now, all 3 of them out. Lil Wayne also said, "No face, no case."
Yes.
Is there a Dwayne Carter on here? Oh. There's no Dwayne Carter on this list, so Lil Wayne was not on the.
He was not involved in any of the tomfoolery.
So, in this list, I don't even know where this list came from. This list came from.
Red Talk was on it.
Say what?
Red Table Talk was on it.
Yeah, I said that. That's how we. But
Interesting.
yeah. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Miss Ghislane. I think she was involved a little bit more than an associate or something like that. I think she was a major player here. And I also think she's going to die.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the over and under?
Oh, she's dead.
Yes.
She's dead.
What's the over and under, baby?
I'm all in. She dead. I'm looking at this list. She dead.
I'm thinking, oh, well, you know what? I think I do see Sean Carter.
Maybe we looking at two different lists, but I don't see him on it. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I was spelling it wrong.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes.
They killed me with the spelling of Sean. I was looking for S-E-A-N.
Yeah.
And then I saw on the show that they spell it in England like S-O-I-N or something like that. Hey, look. The next presidential candidate needs to settle this. There's one way to spell Sean. Figure it out. I don't care.
Yes.
One way.
All right, well, you have anything else on that?
Damn, Jigga.
Anything else on that, baby?
Nah, man, but she's dead. I'm all in. Like, whatever the bet is.
I'm saying 6 months. I say by the end of the year she's done.
But, all right, what we got next, man?
Next up, we're going to get on the removal of Confederate statues. Over the last few weeks, since the Black Lives Matter protests, some of the things that have been happening is some of the protesters have pulled down some statues. There are some, and on the right, there's been issues with that. In the big scheme of things, I can agree in the sense that there should be some, actual rules and regulations and steps of doing it. It should be done the official way and not just kind of vigilante justice.
Yeah.
Ish. So in that instance, I can kind of agree with that. But there's been a lot of, pardon my French, but bullshit from the right talking about, but it's about our heritage, and they use that narrative for a very long time that, it's about respecting our heritage. And I would point a few, any of our listeners that have a few minutes, to go to smartconnors.com and 538.com. They had a couple articles this week. 538 by Ryan Best, smartconnors.com, James Craven. And I feel like those embody, I couldn't figure out a way to say it better or as concise as they did. But for all intents, I said it last week or 2 weeks ago, these monuments are for losers. Where do we do that at? I said that, but even more specifically, if you read those articles and it makes sense, and in fact, I guess I should be able to do that as well because there's a reason why I did that. So these articles looked at when these Confederate statues were actually implemented and what was going on at that time. And in a lot of instances, you can see where it was never about, their history. It was never about, what they say about as far as respecting our history. It was about injecting fear into the black community at that time, as far as, right after the Civil Rights era, right after the Civil War, there was an era of Reconstruction where black people actually did pretty well, got elected to higher office. Hell, Louisiana actually had a black governor for a while. And it was in that 10-year span that a lot of the majority was like, oh no, we got to fix that. And that's when you saw the proliferation of people getting lynched.
Yes.
I used that word again. But at the same, interesting enough,
I see
around
your
that.
notepad, man. You got proliferation written over there in the
No.
notes.
No, but interesting enough though, around that same time is when they started implementing Jim Crow laws, and in the early 1900s, the Jim Crow laws were rampant, and as you can see, I'll definitely put this chart up, but as you can see, you know, in the mid 1920, like 1915, 1916, there was a big push to erect these statues, and ironically, a lot of these statues were put on government properties, specifically in front of courtrooms. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to court, if you're fighting against, you know, someone of the majority, you walk in and you see a Confederate statue before you walk in, so you know it's against you. And that's essentially what these, you know, in a short version, these articles kind of got at, is that it was never really about the history. It was about intimidation. And you can see at the height of when all these things were happening, that was kind of like the fever pitch, you know, when the Rosewood and the fucking Black Wall Street events happened were around those times.
Okay.
So, I mean, in my view, you know, yes, majority of those things should come down. I also heard an argument that potentially they can be in, you know, actual museums so that we don't forget it. I can stomach that argument, but you know, we've done a lot in this country. This country has done a lot to, you know, the black community over the last 400 years. And, you know, we kind of mentioned it. I meant to say it while you were saying it, but, you know, I've been on this earth 40 years, and I think in any other line of work, if you do something over 20 years, you're an expert. If I tell you this shit is wrong because of X, Y, Z, this ain't just from some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I am an expert. Like, I never forget, I was in grad school, someone asked me, I was like, in any other line of work, after 30 years, you're an expert. I'm literally telling you this shit, that's racist. Like, I don't, like, dude, I've lived this shit. What else you want me to tell you? But
I want you to tell them about black on black crime.
I thought it was, yeah, that's something they want to bring the fuck up. You're right. You're right.
Well, that's such a problem.
I thought these articles were very interesting and poignant, and actually were, and it was weird because they came out like literally like one after the other.
Yeah. And
it was like, but you know what I'm saying? Like this one, 537 went a little more into like actual detail, whereas
538.
538. Whereas the Sparkanis was just more of an opinion, and what that I guess white person actually believed and experienced and witnessed, and the research that he did. But
so, what is this graph?
This is basically telling you
how many statues were erected,
and the time frame they were erected. Okay. So, you know, a lot of them said that it was about. So in that instance, when they say it was about their history and representing their history, a lot of this shit didn't happen till like 40, 50 years after Civil War. So it took you 40, 50 years to decide to do those things. Whereas if, you know, one would argue that if it was really about that, it would have happened before the night. This would be prior to 1900. You know what I'm saying? But most of this shit happened around the time when they're like at the height of, you know, people, you know, black people being harassed and lynched in the South.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think I mentioned this. Yeah, Daughters of United Daughters of the Confederacy. They were behind a lot of them. So in this instance,
United what?
So this is a group.
No, I'm just. What did you say the name?
United Daughters of the Confederacy.
Okay.
They've been behind a lot of the erection of these statues. They're like a nonprofit almost.
Okay.
And they fund a lot of these statues. But I just found it, you know, interesting that finally someone was able to, put the nail on the hammer on the nail. So specifically, as far as like, it's not about your history. It was not about your history when you was doing it. It was about, projecting fear and letting people know what could happen.
Okay. And I don't care about the statues. For all I care, they can
I like to see
go
him
and
come down.
pressure wash or sandblast Stone Mountain.
I like to see him come down.
I don't
personally.
care. Well, I'm saying, I don't care. I guess I'm indifferent. Like, to me, they don't intimidate me. They don't I don't care of their existence. And I want to be clear on that, is that I don't think that this is one of these kind of theories that I've formed over the years. Like, I don't think love and hate are opposite. Right? Mm-hmm. I think love and hate are maybe opposite responses, but there's still like an emotional tie there. So like, whether you hate something, you still care about it. Mm-hmm. You just care about it negatively, if that makes sense. I'm completely indifferent with these soldiers, with the Confederacy. If you wipe them all off, then bye. Mm-hmm. I carry on with my day. If I go to Stone Mountain or wherever, I'll go climb up Stone Mountain, and it's like, there. Are you intimidated? No, I don't. So it's the effect on me is no, I guess is what I'm getting at, gotcha. Right? So
yeah,
I do think it's.
I could probably say the same, because it was like they would bring up, like, for instance, New Orleans took down some statues, and I didn't even know they were there.
Yeah, it probably walked past them a million times.
Exactly.
It never stopped to read the placard, or it never struck fear in you, or nothing like that. So that's all I'm saying. I think it would be a push for like progression, a positive, push, if they were to remove some of them, right? And I say some because I'm just trying to think of, like, when I say some, I'm thinking like, okay, if you're in a town that has a large population of African Americans, then you have to understand that the ties, similar to the flag that this has and what this represents, not only to your white inhabitants, but what it means for the ones opposite of them, right? The black ones. So I would say low-hanging fruit, those at a minimum have to go, right? Especially if the black community is voicing, or the minority community is voicing, hey, we don't like this, it's got to go. That's low-hanging fruit for me, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in the middle of the rural area or something, and you have no population there or whatever, then you could maybe make the argument for history or something there. But the minute that you start getting a complaint, or you have inhabitants who feel, intimidated or whatever by it, I don't think you really have a foot to stand on to keep them standing. Yep. You know what I mean? But somehow they have been. I think this is interesting, though, because while showing the time that they were erected and correlating and trying to draw a correlation to fear-mongering and intimidation, those two, maybe I have to read it. I haven't read it, but I think it's very subjective, I guess. Very hard to tie something to intimidation through the number of statues erected.
So what they were saying was, maybe I didn't do a good job of leading into it, but because of, I mentioned it earlier about the recreation era, where black, because like in that time frame, they had like 15 blacks from the South elected to Congress. Mm-hmm. But what happened was, a lot of the South around that time period, a lot of the whites in the South realized that some states actually, the blacks had the majority, and they had to figure out a way to, stymie that vote and figure out how. And so that's when they started getting those voter registration type laws, and Jim Crow started. And then in that instance, and then that's when people started being like, more into like our history in the South. Let's erect these Confederate statues.
They're
And
terrible at history because
and
the
then-
Confederate flag was not even the Confederate flag.
True, that too. That's the battle flag. It's not the actual Confederate
It's a
state
portion of the
But and then even to the extent that the KKK had basically shuttered, and then it re-established itself in like around 1918. But it's one of those things where it's just, I gotta think back to those times when, like, my grandparents weren't grandparents, and I have to think my great grandparents weren't as boisterous when it came to interacting with, the majority. They were more like, yes sir, yes ma'am, very
non-confrontational.
and giving a lot of deference to them. And in that instance, they were scared. And if they scared, what's another means of showing them without having to say it than to say, like, these men who fought to keep you in bondage are great men. They're great. And we in a lot of instances, wish they would have won.
So I'll direct this kind of away from this to where this all kind of scares me a little bit as it
I hope you're going where I hope you're going.
because
trying to go
what
there
I've
too.
almost seen is that it's, I don't know how to word this, right? Let me be very clear. I don't have a Confederate flag in my car. Like, I don't I didn't vote for Trump.
You don't?
Yeah, I'm
You
not.
didn't?
I'm not voting for Trump. I didn't vote
Yes.
for Trump. I'm not, a black redneck or whatever the term
For real?
is. I'm not an Uncle Tom, which I heard somebody say Uncle Tom is actually a good term. But whatever. I'm none of those things, or at least I don't think I am. But it's like it went from one statue going down to
Yeah, I think you're going there. Yes.
every person that anyone has ever celebrated to us basically reopening their file of their existence and pinpointing one or two things that they did that may not have been pleasant or favorable or by today's standards, and basically saying
I'm glad you did that.
we should cancel
I
this
wanted to go
person
there.
completely or whatever.
I wanted to go there.
So, and this is just my initial thoughts, and I don't, this hasn't been flushed out, and I could be completely wrong in how I feel about this, and maybe I've been whitewashed or whatever.
No,
I'm open to hearing, the side that the argument for this type of behavior, but change doesn't happen without some type of casualties, right? And I don't mean casualties as in necessarily loss of life, but I mean that you don't get something for nothing, right? You don't. Nobody's ever gotten something for nothing. Something has had to be given or given up or taken for certain liberties and freedoms to be had. So I understand not wanting to celebrate certain individuals, but I also am thankful for where we are and where I live and the nation that I live in. Even given all the injustices and even all the kind of crooked systems that exist, right? There is corruption and all that, but it is still a pretty good country overall. A great country, some would say. It has its downfalls to it, but so does everywhere.
Yep.
So it's like, you don't, I guess at what point do we just accept that, like, hey, yes, historically terrible things have had to happen for us to be at the point that we are at now.
So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and just dive into it because you're getting there, but you didn't go exactly with it. So where does the line stop? Where's the demarcation line as far as like who to cancel, who not to cancel, and why? If we're gonna take down those statues, then why not? The Andrew Jacksons and Washington, the George Washington
Both of which were slave owners.
You know what I'm saying? Why not those either? Well, I think it's a different, you know. So the demarcation line to me is the Confederacy, because.
But they tore down Christopher Columbus too, and he wasn't a Confederate.
Hey, again,
he wasn't a president either.
I didn't necessarily say I was in line with that one, did I?
America's not even named after him. Does Amerigo Vespucci have a statue?
Like, I think it's all that there's a such thing going too far. I think that may be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the start of the country is what it is. Good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is.
Yeah.
He got the credit for it. That is what it is. But to me, why, and as far as like those guys, as far as Jackson and Washington, that was that was the environment in which the country was started under. They had slave laborers. They had indentured servants. They had all that. But when it changed to me is when there was a different in thought that was like, hey, we want to go away from there.
Yep.
And the southern states decided to commit treason.
Secede.
All those guys committed treason to secede from the government. And in that instance, you are rewarding them for committing treason against our country now. And now we are, whether good, bad, or indifferent, a United States.
Yeah. But even that, right, is a right that we have.
I feel like, though, on the same time, if there's an issue, like you said, if there is an issue as far as like black, brown community, particularly black in this country, because that's who.
I hate indirect people. I just say how you feel. I don't like black people. Just say it.
If you
just
feel
it is Black Lives Matter. My house would say Black Lives Matter, and the next person's house said I don't like black people. Then I know not to fuck with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's just. I guess what I'm getting at is that, like, I can look at the Constitution, right? And I can look at the amendments and everything that we have written into the Constitution, and I could say that the Confederacy was doing what they were constitutionally allowed to do, right? We label them as treason. You've used treason.
That is treason,
right? Oh, okay, but if the government gets too big,
if you secede, yes, you're allowed to do that.
I'm not arguing with your history. I'm just saying there's a line to me where it's like, and I'm saying this because like Trump's about to be in office for another 4 years, and if he's saying, hey, something is legal, let's not start that narrative. But if he is, directing the country, the majority, right, in a direction that I think is counter to my well-being, by me standing up against that, right, and against where the nation as a whole, their train of thought may go, right, you can call me treasonous, but I am willing to take arms and bear arms against a corrupt and government exceeding in its jurisdictions of power. Right, that's how I see it, and I'm not saying the two are the same.
No.
I'm not saying the two are the same. But wait. Let me just make that point clear. I'm not saying the two are the same. I'm not saying the Confederacy was what I'm describing here. But I'm saying I want to make sure there's a clear distinction in that if you do feel the government is getting too big and you decide to take a stance against that government encroaching in your rights.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen if you don't succeed?
I don't know, and that's what I'm saying.
I can tell you what's going to happen.
I'm conflicted.
Either you're going to die, or you're going to go to jail. Because again, and that's what I wanted to say. To the winner goes the spoils, and in this instance,
absolutely,
the Union won, so they get to dictate history. And in that instance, they didn't want to ostracize Southern whites, and they let them do those type of things.
So, all right, so. I guess I find it interesting, in that history it's happened. It's in the past. It's there. It's gone. It went. I just find I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting this, and it's like not an anxiety, but it's just I'm just looking for I guess the hypocrisy in if because I believe everything in life is cyclical, right? If things sway out of favor of progressive thinking right now, will the progressives' stance on this change, and will they? And I hope the answer is, honestly, I hate to say this, but I hope it's yes. Will you be willing to stand and fight for what you believe in if the train of thought, like what you said, what I don't remember the exact phrase you used, but if that group of thought changes out of your favor, right? Because it can change out of right now. It's looking like it's moving. You know, the voices that are the loudest right now are screaming for progressiveness, right? The voices are the loudest. But is the ship actually turning that way, or is it turning against it? And if it turns against it, are we just going to ride that ship as it goes far right? I'm saying far right, but I'm over here on the right side, left side of my body, far right. Or are we going to stand our ground for what we believe in?
So I just think, as far as like the Confederate monuments are concerned, you know, if you truly believe in that, where you have the right to put it on your private property, but in public settings, that's where the issue is with me. Because in that instance, you're making it available to everyone. That goes back to kind of what I said earlier. Like, but perhaps they should be in museums so that people know. They can kind of, you know, you don't forget about it.
It's public. You contextualize it around the events of history.
But if you make it public, then that makes it almost kind of like
you're
acceptable behavior.
Advertising.
Acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, no, that's why they need to be removed. Because they did, like, you know, like I said, they so eloquently were able to put it in those articles. It was more about intimidation than actually about your history.
Yeah, I get that. I guess I'm just trying to, you know, again, look for a something to juxtapose with that, and that, hey, you know, if the I don't know the phrase that you thought, and I'm bringing it back up again. I'm trying to, because I'm genuinely curious of what you actually think of this, because I don't. Although I see the act of what was going on back then wrong, I see them as standing up for what they believe in, which I think is right. So I'm conflicted, right? But again, I don't give a damn about the Confederates or the.
So again, it goes back to what I said: to the winners go the spoils. Now, if they would have won, then they could have peripheralated that.
But I'm not
forward.
But I'm not talking. I'm not talking
You
about
lost.
that. I agree with you on that. I'm not talking that. I'm saying that if I can't call it history, but if in the future going forward, and I'm just hung up on that statement you said, and it misses. I'm missing the exact phrase what you said with the group of thought or something like that of the nation, right? If that changes out of our favor, are we willing to stand and fight for our favor, in favor of what we truly believe?
When you say we, who are you talking about? Black people?
I mean, whoever. Like right now, I would say progressive thinking people, right? Because we're trying to drive the narrative this way. But if for whatever reason it swings out of our favor, are we just going to stay on that? Because in that instance, they are the winner, right?
So the thing about it,
I don't know. Maybe I'm not voicing this correctly or whatever. I just think that it's.
The thing about it is, I think as far as like big pictures, like if you look at it holistically, I think the majority of the country always thought that was kind of suspect as far as like, but the northern whites needed to welcome the southern whites back into the fold. So they gave them that. They gave them the Jim Crow laws. They gave them, you know what I'm saying? Because all that happened after Reconstruction when they was like, we need to put them back in their place because they doing too much now. And in certain states like Georgia, Mississippi, and I think even Louisiana, we actually had the populace, the majority of the populace in the state. I think it was like 51% in like those 3 states. And so in that instance, they had to find a way to, you know, subjugate those people.
I get all that. I'm not talking history no more. I'm just talking, are we able to stand our ground for what we believe in the event that we become the minority voice, or are we going to look at that as I just see us without victimizing or demonizing any group. I see that as one, a constitutional right. Two,
what's a constitutional right?
To stand up for what you believe in. If the government,
Okay.
you believe the government is growing and moving away from, or imposing upon you something that you don't believe in.
I don't think you have the right so again, it kind of goes back to what you said earlier. If people feel a certain type of way, if there's people that feel intimidated by these statues, that is, for all intents and purposes, pushing forward a false narrative.
Taking it back to the statue. I've already set my stance on the statue. I agree with you. In a public place, they have no place in a public place.
That's what we're talking about. Like,
I'm taking it past that. I'm beyond that. In a public place, they have no standing. I agree with you on the museum, because you can contextualize it.
In that instance, if you want to say, do Southern whites have the right to, be proud of that? Yes. But you don't have the right to have a statue in public, spaces.
I think you have a right. I think it's just bad. I think it's bad decorum. It's bad. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't invite a guest over that doesn't eat pork and then serve pork.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You want people. You want to be welcoming and open and to all people. Then yes, it is absolutely counter to that. So yes, I agree with in that regard. My whole thing is removed from the statues. It's just standing up for what you believe in, and how if in 100 years, if we look back at, I'm making up a scenario, but if we stand up because Donald Trump is trying to take this country completely over here, right? To with the looting start, the shooting start. Exactly what's going on right now. They're trying to paint us as something else, and we're standing and fighting for it. I guess I see in the future people can look back and say, well, they went against the president, and what the president thought was this and was that. Sometimes it's okay to do that. It's okay to stand up and fight for what you believe in.
Yes.
Is what I see. And I guess I can see how you can draw some similarities in struggle, period. I'm not going to say between what groups, but there's a similarity in struggles and fighting for your beliefs and fighting for your rights and the limitations of government power in that regard. So, but as far as what the original topic was with the statues, no, if it's fucking offensive, can be considered offensive to a large, not even large, to any of your inhabitants, then you are being a bad host. And I think they should go. Nobody's argued the Michael Jordan statue in Chicago. Nobody. I haven't heard one person complain about Magic Johnson in front of the Staples Center. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason for that, because generally speaking, he is regarded as a great in his right. He hasn't done anybody that I know of wrong. I got to check the Epstein list. He might be on there. Michael Jeffery. You still got the list up?
Yeah, I got it up.
Michael Jeffery, man. Come on.
Irving Magic.
Damn, come on.
Let's see. Are you here, Irving?
Oh, come on, bro. You you said that like he was on there. You said that like old Annabella off of.
I was trying to figure out. In my mind, I was going Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was like, I need his first name.
Yeah,
Irving.
Nah,
he's not.
No Irving, no Michael Jeffrey. Okay, there you go. So,
but I mean, as far as that concerned, like, dude, I mean, you have the right to protest, and that's essentially what you're saying. And you have the right to take up arms. But
that's what I'm saying.
But the thing about it is, it goes back to the victor goes to spoils. If you don't win, you're going to be a criminal.
All right. Well, I won't say where my mind's going on that with that note, because
it just is what it is.
Yeah.
To the victor goes to spoils.
Well, there you go. Oh, Spartans, we die in battle.
All right, man, I'm gonna pass this over to you. Just quick, I don't want to say a quick topic, but it's one of those topics you brought up: black businesses.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of this on Twitter, Instagram. A lot of infighting within the black community about, black businesses pricing their products too high, too low. Really, it's just too high. I ain't never heard nobody say it was too low. I think the consumers would say too high, and I think the business owners would say it's priced too low, right? Because they're the ones incurring the cost. In business school, they call it the cost of goods sold, right? How much do I have to pay to produce this product to then sell it to somebody? But a lot of tweets, a lot of memes and things saying that, black, because something is black owned or black owned or black product doesn't mean that it should be discounted or within a certain price range. And I 100% agree with that statement. But what I also agree with or believe is that it also doesn't mean that every product is a luxury product. There can be a black-owned product that is made for the cost-conscious consumer. There can be a black-owned product that can be a luxury or designer, considered a designer product. There's an entire spectrum in which a product can be positioned within the black business, the space of black businesses, black products. So I just wanted to kind of, address that for one, because I'm just tired. I saw somebody say like $45 for a t-shirt is ridiculous. And it's like, it's not. Maybe for you it is, but I've seen $45 t-shirts in Guess. I go in Express and I'd say the MX shirts, which is just a white button-up shirt, is like $70. You get them, buy one, get one half price off, and your tab still comes to $110, which tells me this was a $70 shirt. And you can sit here and argue quality with me all day. I ain't never seen nobody inspect the thread count. I ain't seen nobody hold up a loop to the buttons to see if this was ivory or none of that. It's perceived quality to you, right? That perception of quality is there, but is it actual a quality product, right? So I like to just we got to nip that kind of infighting in the bud, and we have to realize that, hey, there are some of us, and I'm going to use you and me as an example, right? There's products, you got colognes that I would love to have because I actually do like colognes, but I wouldn't, there's something internally with me conflicted with buying a bottle of Bond number 9 just for the price point, right? Creed is another one. I've been eyeballing Creed for years. I could have been bought this shit. It's a $300 bottle of cologne. I could have been bought it. I bought more than $300 in tools, right? I go and spend $1,000 on tools, won't bat an eye. But you tell me Creed cologne $300, I'm internally conflicted, and that's okay. Is that saying that cologne is not worth $300? No, it's saying that to me it's not worth $300.
Yes.
To me it is not worth $300, but to somebody out there it's worth $300, and that's okay, right? So within black businesses, it's okay to design a product and say, hey, I want fast fashion. Similar to H&M, Zara, Forever 21. I want to design things that are low quality, but it gives somebody a good look at an affordable price point, right? And if somebody does that, that shouldn't be a standard for somebody maybe like yourself who says, hey, I want to design something that's genuine leather, hand stitched, gonna last you a lifetime, right? It's gonna cost you a little bit more, and the branding that we put around it is good. We want this to represent luxury. We want it to represent high fashion or high whatever else you could get into, right? High price point, everything. And we're gonna target those consumers who are looking for pieces like this. It's not a condemnation to them because another brand priced their t-shirt at $10. Mm-hmm. Right? Because this one said the same white t-shirt with my logo, embroidered on it, a 1-inch logo embroidered, $100 for this t-shirt. If you see the value in that and you see the brand, and that brand, what that brand represents, and the clout and the, kind of esteem and just, whatever else that brings to you, you purchase that, right? And if it don't fit you, then find a black-owned business that makes a product within your price point that you don't feel bad about. But we got to stop this condemning somebody because they way over here when they wasn't even considering you as a customer in the first place.
Exactly. That's what I was going to.
You are not a target customer. We were talking about this just even with the podcast, right? Who is our target audience? If you are a right-wing, Bible-thumping Trump supporter,
you are hot taking a half.
You are going to tell us that. You probably going to listen to this and say like, the product that these guys are producing is bullshit. It's not bullshit, but it's not designed and targeted and marketed for you, and that is okay. Candace Owens has a platform, and that may speak more to you. Go over there. There is the ability for her to exist and us to exist at the same time. Fox News can exist at the same time as MSNBC, CNN, all these other outlets. You feel me?
Yep.
So I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I don't know that this was much of a discussion.
Yeah. I think so. Here's my take on it when I got it. So I think it's twofold for me. Number one, from the customer perspective, when it comes to a black-owned business, don't always try to get the hookup.
Stop trying to get the hookup.
He or she developed that product for a certain price point, and you have to respect that. You don't do that shit with Polo or any other place. You don't go to any other mall or whatnot and think.
But if you do, because I know people that are walking the store and before they check out, hey, is there a discount on this? If you keep that same energy is what I'm saying. If that's how you are, fine. Be a conscious shopper, right? Yeah. There ain't nothing wrong with getting a discount. But don't, if I tell you, hey man, I'm putting something out, this hat right here, don't hit me with the, oh man, but come on, man, you know me.
Yes.
If that's the price point.
That's the price point.
That's the price point.
Respect it.
And then if I say, hey, there's a 15% off discount, then okay, then the discount is applicable to you. It's applicable to everybody. But don't, only want that because it's me and because you see me and you see that I'm the same color as you.
Yes.
But then elsewhere, you okay paying Nike, $200 for the J's.
Exactly.
So,
and on the
but don't want to pay for the money yachties from Master P.
Yeah.
Get you some money yachties, man.
And then on the other side, as far as like the business owners concerned, stop complaining about that. You know what I'm saying? You just said it. You created your product for a specific group. You know that that's going to be people that's not going to be able to purchase it. You don't see the Gucci's of the world complaining about the people that can't afford Gucci. Because I distinctly said that because I know in the screenshot you sent me, it was like people, but they'd be quick to spend $200 for a Gucci shirt. Like Gucci's not complaining about people that can't afford their shirt. So you shouldn't be complaining about people that can't afford your product. You should have that in your price model.
So the only rebuttal I have to that example is that in the picture I sent you is that it's saying that you will pay the same person that's complaining that a t-shirt is $45 from a black business, right? Mm-hmm. Will still go out and pay. They will pay $200 for a Gucci shirt. So there, it's a matter of it's a battle of brand equity and brand.
Exactly. How about that?
And it also may be a battle of quality.
You're not gonna win that one.
It also may be a battle of quality. But what I'm saying with that is that don't assume because it is not Gucci that it's not worth that.
Yes, that's
right.
It.
Don't assume that. That's what I'm saying. Where it comes down to like you have. I'm trying to think. There's perceived quality and there's realized quality, right? I can say something is 100% leather. It really is leather, right? And I can show you a product that looks like leather, take a really nice picture, have really nice soft lighting on it and put it in, a nice what would be considered, nice luxury editorial type of picture, and it's perceived leather, and then you come to find out, oh, this is from Aldo, and looks really nice, and there's nothing wrong with Aldo. I like Aldo. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But it's not genuine leather, right? So that's the difference between perceived quality and real quality. Is that Aldo's gonna sell you a product that looks good, a cheap price, affordable price point, but it's not gonna last as long. It's not made of the same materials as, say, like the Gucci boots that you did have that are genuine leather that aren't gonna peel in a year or two from now, right? You go, like you were talking to me about that. You go and get these resold. You put a new sole on these bad boys, and this boot is gonna last you years. You pay somebody $60 to throw a new sole on it. You back rolling. You back in business. You're not getting that out of an Aldo shoe.
Nope.
So black businesses can be, and this is how how I see these things. There's almost saying it like black businesses can't be luxury. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Now that's for the consumer to decide, right?
And you have to be willing to bite the bullet too on the other end. You're gonna miss out on some of the sales.
What do you mean?
Like, because of your stance that I am a luxury brand, my price is my price. I mean, some people just not gonna be willing to do that.
Absolutely. But again, that's part of positioning your product.
Exactly.
Right? If you want to say I want to make a luxury product, all these purse manufacturers, these Birkins and all that, they're not mass producing these bags. They don't have 1 million Birkins sitting in the inventory. They might make 100 of them, right? And their profit might be 1,000x on a purse.
Yeah.
But they say we're gonna make 100. Our goal is to sell 1 motherfucking 100, right? If that's your position, if you're going that high price, high quality, think of like McLaren and Lamborghini and all that. They're not out here in Dearborn just stamping out 1 million of them like Ford is the F-150.
Yep.
Right? That's fine. You make your 100 sales. Don't condemn the millions of people that don't buy it, though.
Exactly.
Don't condemn them. And then for the million people that can't afford to buy it, don't condemn them for aiming and developing a business targeted at somebody else. It's okay. Find somebody in your price point that you like their design and you like their offering, and then boom. Or reach out to that business and say, hey, I really like your products, but they're out of my price point. And I think a lot of people would probably support you if you were a little bit cheaper. Like, there's a way to do it and not shit on the product, right? You can say Polo has Polo. They also have, Purple Label?
Yeah.
So if you are, want to wear some Polo, wear some Polo. But if you really want to do it up, go and do the Purple Label with the linen and all that and all the nice fabrics and shit that I can't pronounce. They have that. It's okay to have a tiered product offering.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. But we got to stop saying they're not worth that.
Yeah.
They might be worth that.
That's not fair.
You're just not in that price range, and that's okay. Not for you. Move on.
And also, if you've never bought the product, you can't say that.
Because you got some items down here, man. Some people put a lot of time and effort into the things that they bring to market. You know what I'm saying? There's countless nights. There's nights of researching, manufacturing, trying to figure out manufacturing. I see people manufacturing their own stuff. There's, barcodes. There's, if you're making like a health and beauty product, there's like regulations and stuff that you have to abide by so that your product clears. And it only takes one ignorant person who don't know none of this, right, to say that her makeup can't be worth that when Kylie's only charging this, and you completely shut down everything that this person has worked for. This young lady who I'm making it a woman in this situation, but this person has worked for to building this brand. And so what she want to charge? What if her product is actually better? Just because it's $5 more than another product that you perceive to be better, now you could potentially have detracted potential sales and whatever else from this person, and also benefits to yourself. We got to stop, man. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Just say, that's a bit out of my price range. Move on. Email them. Sometimes people might come down on price with you privately or whatever. But just look for another product within your range, man. But it's a whole spectrum. Like I say, from cost conscious to luxury, black products can exist in there all together.
Yep. And
there's enough money out there.
And I guess I'll finish my point on it just from the perspective of a business owner. Like from that side of it, you have to know what you're shooting for, and you're gonna have to just sit on it.
Dig in.
Yeah, just gonna have to sit on it. Like, hey, I'm not a low brow or a low cost product. Like,
and if you are low cost, don't fucking clap back when somebody call you out on your shit.
Exactly.
If you low quality and somebody say, hey, you shipped me a shirt and the sleeve was already falling off when it got here.
Okay. Yeah.
Take that feedback and get your shit together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Keep that damn energy, man. When I was selling shirts at one of the jobs I was working, I remember a guy was trying to haggle with me or whatever, and I'm like, look, bro, the price is the price. And he's like, man, well, you probably got this from here and got that from there and did that. And I was like, yeah, but the price is the price. Well, I can't pay for it. I was like, all right, bet. I opened the door. Literally, as I opened the door, that awkward moment. You open the door, somebody was pulling on it. Somebody's on the other side, and then dude was like, hey, are you the dude selling the shirts? And I'm like, yes, I am. Do you have an extra large long sleeve? Yes, I do. How much is it? $30. Here you go. I just looked back at buddy that was sitting there trying to haggle with me, just winked at him, and then walked out. And bro, you can't tell me, you sit here trying to, talk me down and be negative about what I know that it's worth. And here it is on the other side of that door, a person been looking for me all night.
Yeah. Here
you go. You have a good day, sir. I hope you enjoy your because he bought a short sleeve one from me. I hope you enjoy your short sleeve, man. It's really a good shirt. It's a good quality product you got there, man.
Alrighty. All right. Up next, real quickly, we're gonna jump into this real quick, then we'll get into the show. Kanye for president.
Not happening.
I would agree. I've been real quickly. I've been whenever I hear something on online, like I watch a few podcasts online, whatever. But some of the scuttlebutt is that he's having one of his manic moments, and this is kind of like a culmination of one that he's kind of going a bit crazy in one of his bipolar episodes. But I say all to say, man, just when I thought, because he donated to like HBCU, right? He did something recently. Like he just became a billionaire, then he donated something to something.
Yeah, 10 million, 100 million to
and
Black Lives Matter.
I was like, just when I thought we could start thinking about bringing him back into the tent, this motherfucker pulled this shit. Like this ain't the time for that, Kanye. And I know one of the questions was who could it benefit more. I'm just scared that it will benefit. It can only benefit the wrong guy. That's my fear on this.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, it's no detriment to him to announce it. I don't think it's bad per se. I just think that if it at all detracts from the wrong person, that being Joe Biden.
Yes.
If he steals votes from him or even just confuses somebody considering the vote, right? So basically, if it interrupts the voting process at all and gives Donald Trump a slight edge, it's going to be a Homer Simpson dope kind of moment.
Yes.
So I don't know the reason for it. I think he's already too late to register even to be on the ballot for several states. I think this is another marketing plan. He's always kind of come out with things that are.
I was gonna say that too. Someone said he got some music coming out.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you get your product and your brand in front of more people, right? And I think he's always found a way to one up himself and be able to outclass himself previously to expose his product to more and more people. So online they call it like impressions, I guess. So I guess he does things just to get the look, right? And he makes I think, a very good use of those moments when he gets a look, whether you consider it a good moment or bad moment, right? It's subjective, but if you're watching sales, then it's all been a good look. So even when he was trending virally with your boy Van going off on him, right? That's tons and tons of news media outlets showing that video over and over again, bringing attention to Kanye. So, and then all that happens is now the world's watching him, and then what happens? He drops a new Yeezy design, or he's got a new album, or something comes out. Just signed $1 billion deal, or a deal valued over $1 billion. So it's because he's finding these creative ways, albeit they kind of self-sacrificing a little bit, self-deprecating, to keep his name in the mix and to keep his name above and relevant, despite what's going on in other arenas. You know what I'm saying?
Just signed the $100 million deal with Gap, right?
Yeah, that's another one.
So I mean, again, I it's nothing more than a stunt.
He donated $2 million to help Floyd Taylor Arbery families. So he's been donating, quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think it's nothing but a political or just a ploy, a marketing
publicity
ploy.
stunt.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You're stunting like my daddy.
With that said, anything else on that?
In and out.
Yeah.
In and out like that trash ass burger from Just Playing. Did we talk about that last episode? Was that here?
No.
Okay.
In and out? No.
All right, that must have been a phone conversation I had with a homie. All right.
Next up, the
Bay.
HBO show.
London Bay.
HBO show.
Yes.
I love Michaela Coel. I think that's how you say her name.
That's her name? Okay.
I love her.
She was on another show on
Bubblegum.
I think it was something on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bubblegum. I actually didn't watch that. I attempted to.
It was hard. She has a brand of acting. It's just hard.
Is it irreverent? I'm trying to think of these bullshit titles they got on Netflix. These bullshit categories. Irreverent social commentary comedy or something. Shut the fuck up. It's play the movie.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, she's very
because I would say both these characters are similar. Like that character, and this one is just like, because that one she was like in high school.
Yeah.
And then like
college, high school or college, yeah.
And this is just like the progression to now she's like in the working world. She's working. But
so how would you describe the shows then? You think the shows are
No. The message is totally different. Like
absolutely
that was very bubblegum. The one on Netflix. It was very much I just like the guy and he never pays attention to me. But again, I only watched maybe an episode and a half. I couldn't really get into it. This one is a lot more. It's hard to watch for other reasons because it's like, you just kind of fucked over. Like it's like people in it, and just kind of like the circumstance around it is like probably shouldn't have happened. Or
I think this shit is brilliant. This show is brilliant, bro.
okay, so all right, good deal.
This show, like I'm glued to this. The whole entire thing is on Netflix apparently. Every episode, there's like you can go on Netflix and see like episode 9, 6, 7, whatever. And I started to the other day. It's in terrible, like low quality. Like I'm talking 1999 standard definition. You know, fucking, we don't gotta live like that no more.
Okay.
So I didn't watch them though. I saw it was there. I've been watching like reaction videos on Netflix and shit because each episode, it literally, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm on like the edge of my seat watching shit, and I'm just like completely captured by like the characters, the storylines, like the messaging that they're trying to get across in each episode. Like this shit is it's she's tackling a very heavy topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those that haven't seen the show, every episode has so far dealt with rape.
Yeah, it's rape.
It's addressing rape in the many different ways that it can manifest itself.
Yes.
Right? And
how it can happen.
And even, how it's discussed and handled, between men and women. Yes. And I think that was evident in the last episode, right? But yes. I think this show so far has been executed masterfully to me.
Well, she's all over the place. She has fish grease, as the Southerners would say.
They also say burn my craw, and I ain't never heard that shit neither. But yeah, is she?
I've seen her all over the place. She's on like magazine covers because of
she got like a Vogue or a GQ or something cover.
That's big, bro.
Yeah, but I was
especially for someone that ain't like well known in the States. Like she's a UK actor.
Yeah, definitely. That's UK Bay right now. You know what I'm saying? It's UK.
Yes.
Bay. But I just think this show is very insightful, I guess. It gives you kind of at first I thought did you ever see that show The Night Of? I think that was another HBO show. They did one season. It was like that it was like I don't know what he was. I want to say Middle Eastern kid or something.
Yes, okay.
And like he got
and they were trying to say he did something, but he was like he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. The first episode I was like, they're doing this and they're gonna retrace her night and figure out what exactly happened from that night. They didn't do that at all. No. So that was the first mistake I had. That was the first mistake I think by the second episode, it was like they were trying to like rewalk some of the night before. I think it was like the second episode when she, I guess, came to the realization that something did happen. Yeah. Yep. I knew something happened the first episode. They're using like these flashbacks that just kind of abrupt, but flashes. The second when she was like, I need to go to the police. Yeah. So, but I just think this show has so far been executed masterfully, dog. Like the way they won, it's gonna sound crazy, but even the episode where it was like the three dudes. Okay. Even that, it's like it's hard to watch, right? It's like you want to. It's like, all right, I don't need to see this or whatever. But even in that was like, but it plays into the next episode, right? Yeah. And it's like it makes you uncomfortable because the topic of rape is uncomfortable, right? And but I think the purpose of that moment was to show how quickly something can go from
good to bad.
Yes. And how the context of something, how it can be, you just had a consensual experience. Yes. And then a moment later, you can take it too far and now it's outside of that realm of consensuality or whatever.
That nigga was asshole. Like, I see you around. I was like, boy, you a
But I'm watching it. I'm watching it, bro. And first of all, scene.
I had to come back because I was like, like I said, I fast forwarded through it, but then he was like upset. I was like, what happened? It seemed like he would he just humped you out? And I was like, oh shit, okay, gotcha.
But that is all that he did.
No, but he pulled his pants down.
I get that.
In my mind, I was like, because like if you didn't see him pull it, like because I fast forward, I didn't see him pull it down.
I didn't see that either.
Okay, but then I
didn't see that either. But when he got up, he did fix pull his pants up and fix it.
Oh shit!
But in the next episode, he asked the guy about dry humping.
But okay, I don't know.
He asked him about that, about dry humping. So all right. So back on the episode that you fast forwarded through.
He did.
On the episode you fast forwarded through that moment.
I fast forwarded a couple times.
I watched that and like as jarring as it was of a scene because they just don't show that in shows, right? Can I tell you something? Not an efficient position. If you're gonna do that, like it's not just too much going on right there. Wouldn't doggy style be much more like efficient and?
I don't know, bro. Good question.
I'm just like, dog, like really? Like it's just a lot going on here. All right, well, whatever. That's what I took away from that. I'm like, dog, you could have. This would be a little bit easier, I think. I'm all about efficiency. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems inefficient here. But whatever.
Maybe he was just trying to dominate, man.
maybe. Whatever. But
but you know the funny thing? So not funny, but the odd thing about it, when they walked up to that nigga room, that nigga room, and he was like so much bigger than both of them, I was like, this can't be good. I was like, this can't be good. Because like the other nigga was pretty big too.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 inches taller than him. I was like,
yeah. Now that you say that, because that's
a big ass.
Because even when you said this, I was like, but the dude with the hair, I was like, dude with the dreads was kind of big too though.
Yeah, but he was like 2 inches taller and didn't have hair. He was just, and then yoked.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, he definitely wasn't going to bro class. He been in the gym. He been in the gym. He ain't been in bro class. But
this can't go well. This something's gonna happen. Like literally when they walked in, I was like, he could probably take both of them.
Yeah, but you know that episode, I think every episode, each episode has something that is just completely jarring in it. That depending on, like, you are going to be taken aback by something in the episode. My favorite so far was the episode where they went to Italy.
Okay, yeah.
I think that was episode 3 or 4.
Because they brought it up in episode 2.
Yeah, but
like, I told you I was leaving.
But that was my favorite. That's been my favorite episode because, again, and this you can kind of maybe tie it in with that my sticking point with Jada, right? And her whole discussion with like a shift in power made her uncomfortable. In that episode, she was very talking about Terry, right? Terry was like, I want this type of guy, and I want this, and I want that, and this is how I want to do it. And Annabelle, what's her name? Not Annabella, Arabella, Michaela, London Bay's character. She was more like, nah, that's just boring. I don't want to go to the lounge. Let's go to the club. Let's get high, and let's do all this other shit, right? So instantly, they're playing Terry to be kind of like, this is what I want. I want this. And she's very specific about what she wants, right? Control, kind of. So then she leaves. She's like, I want to leave. And Arabella didn't want to leave, so she took off. So again, she made a decision, removed herself from that. Even though we all know how girls hang out. Girls don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Girls don't do that. Girls are, we came together, we leaving together.
Yeah.
Right? Unless they see you leave with somebody else who they can kind of vouch for. But their friends will cock block the shit out of you. You could give no red flags, whatever. But it's like, we don't know you. She coming with us, right? So she said she's leaving. So she just leaves. So that again to me was like, okay, that's kind of telling.
Yeah.
But then she meets the Italy babe, right? And he's kind of wooing her over. And she's like, okay, I kind of like this, right? He kind of seemed to be kind of what she was describing earlier in the episode. And I'm like, okay, so she's going to, hook up with bro. All right, bet. He leave to go get a drink. Then the other dude is just sitting there kind of stalking. So then she dances with him. And then in my mind, I'm looking at this like, okay, so she wants her cake and eat it too kind of deal. Right? Dude comes back with a drink, and she's still standing there just kind of like, your problem, not mine. Like, I'm a single woman, right? I can do what I want to do kind of deal. And then the guy's like, oh, no, in Italy, it's rude to interrupt a dance. And then she's like, oh, okay, so I get to have the suave, kind of polite, gentleman, romantic guy, but also get the guy with the bad boy with the edge or whatever. So fast forward to the bedroom scene where she in there getting tore down by both of them, right? Even when all that is over, she looks fine. She looks like, this is what I wanted. Yeah. This is what I wanted. I came to Italy. This is what I set out for. Perfect. She looks elated, right? And then they have that brief scene where the two dudes are walking down the street after they left, high-fiving like they knew each other. And then her emotion was like,
they got me.
Fuck. They got me.
Yeah.
So that episode to me, is my favorite because I really don't know how to voice this. It's like she was fine with the situation when she was in control. And when the things that she wanted to happen were happening and she was perceiving it as happening because she wanted it to happen.
She was making it happen.
But then when she realized that
she could have been duck, or
Oh, she was a duck.
you know what I'm saying?
These guys have done this before, probably.
Yes.
Then it was like they didn't really make a big deal about it.
No, it didn't.
It ended the episode.
But you could tell she looked like, oh shit. They probably would, you know. It wasn't as I thought it was.
Yes.
But I thought she knew they were together. I thought I saw him there, like in the foreground, the background.
No, he was.
When he walked up to her.
When she first got approached by him. Yes,
I'm like,
but they weren't interacting in that moment. He was just in the scene. So, but I say that because
maybe this is just me and my
you gotta stop fast forwarding, bro. Embrace it.
Me and my international experience, I always think they know each other. I always think if they around each other, when I'm anywhere, they know each other.
Maybe. But the reason that intrigued me was I told you, I watched like a few reaction videos. And of like four or five reaction videos, not one, everybody, they were all women reaction videos. I don't even think men know the show exists, except for you, but you fast forward through half of it.
I do.
All the women were saying that the guys preyed on her. And I didn't see it that way.
I mean,
but well, let me not say that. I at the end, yes, it's obvious that like they set out to do that.
Yes.
Right? They played the whole, you know, kind of mysterious, we don't know each other kind of vibe to see where it ended. But I saw it as that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she was fine with it. If they left and went two different ways, she leaves there thinking she won.
You know what I'm saying? I made two total strangers, you know what I'm saying, idolize me for a night.
Yep. But because she wasn't in control, that made her uncomfortable.
And she only found out about that after it was over with.
Yep. Because even while they was in the room, old boy was like, he's like, hey man, it was nice meeting you guys. Like he getting dressed like, you know, he just.
But I would also say, because, you know, it never really went anywhere. They just kind of, you know, it's alluded that they preyed on her. But what if it was just one of those things? They was going in the same direction. It was like, yeah, that was dope, nigga, and walk out. And they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, have they officially had that where it was like, yeah, because like even in that situation, it's alluded that they did that. Like,
yep.
What if it was one of those things where, hey, we just happen to be going the same way?
So very interesting. So in that instance, in that instance, is that rape or is that perceived?
That's all perceived at that point. Because then she got what she wanted, but because they happened to walk in the same way, it was like, man, that was actually like dope, man. Like, hey, bro, nice meeting you. And then, like, let's say the next block, they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
Like, in that instance, you know, that's all in her mind then.
Do you think they knew each other?
Yes.
Okay.
I do believe they did.
So even in
I'm just opposing, as you say.
Yeah. We like to juxt. We be juxting. Some people be juking, we be juxting.
Yes.
So all right, so let me ask you this. They know each other. Is that rape?
No. I mean, like, if she said no, yes. But I don't think she said no. I think she went along with it. It was just like, for instance, I don't think that was rape. I think that was more or less they gamed her. But the problem was
I think that's what they're trying to get across.
She was already gaming herself in the sense that she's looking for that.
Yeah, that's the
she's
part.
She's looking for that experience, but
I struggle with that part from that show because in the whatever the last episode was, 5 maybe.
Yep.
She said that they were, when she was talking with the cops, she said any like rape constitutes anything outside of what was like agreed upon, I guess.
But she agreed upon that.
No, yeah, but it's all. I'm not disagreeing, right? I'm just kind of trying to flesh this out because in my mind, I'm saying, hey, if you were single and in Italy and a young woman approached you and another guy who you don't know but you do know,
well, that ain't happening. I ain't doing that. It has to be like, first off, it has to be someone I know.
Okay, so we're talking.
That's the only way that could happen. It has to be someone I know. But at this age, that's young me.
Look, man, I'm not trying to put you in hot water. This is just a hypothetical.
Like, just so we know,
It's just a hypothetical. I know, bro. You still
that ain't me,
bro.
no more.
You wait until you married, bro. I know. You know what I'm saying? Let the people know.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that did she agree? Like, can you say I agree because
how could they get back into the room?
No. I think that she 100%. I think the act was consensual. I'm saying if the act was birthed out of a false pretense of an interaction, could that's what I'm getting at. That's what this shit's so fucking scary, bro. I'm happy I'm fucking.
So that is shady, but you know
there should be no shade in sex.
Well, there was no shade in the sex. It was just shade in how they knew each other.
There was shade leading in how they, yeah. But that to me is shady, bro. So that
I'm
not saying that we got to have the answer now, but I'm saying like that's how brilliant I think they're writing this show.
But and at the same time, maybe it's because I was kind of going through it and going back and stuff. So but in that instance, I thought, but then again, I might have been projecting because, like I said, I thought everyone knew that they were together. Like those two guys, he just so happened was the one to walk up to her.
I didn't even see the other dude the first time. I had to rewind it.
Like
you fast forward, I'm rewinding, bro. I don't know what that's.
When she walked up to him, like because I was fast forwarding that. And then I saw them interact. I was like, all right, rewind. Let's see what happens. And when she walked up, I could swear I saw him in the background. And I was like, so when he went away and he was standing there like looking at her, I was like, oh, they about to play the game on her. And like he's about to try to like hook up with her or whatnot. And then when he came, and that's exactly what happened. She started dancing with him. And then he came back. And at that point, I started fast forwarding. I was like, I know where it's going. I don't want to see this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's up with you, man? How old are you? Let me see your ID.
I just, I don't like.
Fast forward through all the sex scenes. They didn't even show nothing.
I just don't like. No. I want to get past. Like, cause I know this is gonna end up with her fucking both of them. I knew that. At that point, I was like, yeah, that's gonna happen. And then I just want to get back to what old girl was doing at that point. Cause like that was around the time she was like tripping, waiting on her girlfriend.
That was
outside.
even more shocking portion
Can't stand
of the.
up. I was like, let's see what she gonna end up doing.
Bro pulled a blood clot out of her, bro.
Yes.
Did you fast forward through that part?
I saw that.
Bro, what the?
I guess I wish I would have, but I was like, Jesus.
That was his character is like all the characters, bro, are so fucking interesting. It's crazy because it's everybody is like not hypocrites, but it's just each character is like an oxymoron. It's I don't get it. She's a popular writer but can't write, right? Or struggles to write. Her friend is like, she likes to be in control and wants to act and be like the center of attention, but shies away from the stage. She doesn't like it when she's actually there. She always clams up. Like the audition, she kind of buckled in the moment, right? Whenever she has a time to shine, she kind of backs away from it. Mm-hmm. The drug dealer, parents died from drugs, so he's like righteous. He's just like, I don't drink except for like once a year on my birthday or something. He don't do none of the drugs he sell. It's like this overly righteous dude, and even when she admitted that she got raped and all that shit, he's just telling her like, which we gotta stop saying this shit. Like, if you didn't do this, then you wouldn't have gotten. And I tell you why I say that.
It definitely
unrelated
helps.
Unrelated, but the dude that almost got lynched. Did you see that story?
No.
So it's a black dude out in like the fucking Ozarks or something. I don't know. He was in Indiana, but in the woods hiking around, stumbled upon a group of whites who don't like people of his kind, and then they basically kicked his ass, and then had him pinned They basically had him pinned between a tree, and they had like their knee on the back of his neck or his body or whatever, and they're sitting there shouting to their friends, "Get the noose, get the rope."
Yeah, I heard something about that.
So I had a friend that was like, "Come on, man, he should know better than to go hiking with with white people. And I'm like, bro, he did nothing wrong.
I was trying to figure out about that, that instance. Like, he said he was at a state park, and then they were saying that he was on private property. I'm like, what happened? Did you?
It's like all these parks. They always have like an entrance that has like these little fucking rails or something like that. But the park is right here, and then if you walk through the rails to this part, you're in the park. But then now you're on private property, and then you're back. If it's a park and there's a hiking trail and people commonly go there, then cool. But yes, that can get muddy, right? Especially if you're going out and venturing off like people do when they hike. You know what I'm saying? People don't always stick on the trail. So that part's not far-fetched. Like, you still shouldn't get lynched. Mm. You know what I mean? But it's just when I heard that, like, come on, man, you should know better than to go hiking with white people. And I'm like, but that's not illegal. Like, he did nothing wrong. That shouldn't end with you getting lynched. You know what I'm saying? Some nights I want to call it an early night, and you want to hang out with, white boys from the department. Should your life end because I left?
Yes, man.
Yes.
Because you left me out there.
You fucking dead there.
Stranded.
You dead.
You stranded me out there.
I wake up at 6 on the weekend.
I mean, bro, we could have been back to back on them fools, man.
You didn't nay with me in the window at Napoli's Pizza or whatever it was called. You left me to nay in front of that damn girl.
But I was right outside though. I was with you though. We could have went back to back.
I had to sit next to her in training.
Yes.
A week later, she laughing at me. I'm like, what you laughing at? I don't even know you. She's like, you're Ivy's friend that did the nay. I can't even do the nay. That's the embarrassing part. Is I can't dance. So, but yeah. So that statement, it I don't know. It opened my eyes to that statement when my friend said that about a black man about to get lynched because he went on a hike.
I wouldn't say that about that. My biggest thing was what I just said was about. I was confused how it started with him saying that he went to basically a state park, and then he got approached to them about being on private property. I was like, so how did this happen? Who's right? Who's wrong? Because like obviously it seems like somewhere along the line he did get on private property because I think they're saying that the authorities involved is saying that it's a property right thing, and it seems like he was on their property.
He wasn't by himself. He was with a group of people.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about the property lines here. I'm talking about if you go walking in the woods with white friends and you encounter some other whites who don't like black people, should you get lynched? And it's an absurd statement.
At that point, it's all on your friends then.
All right, maybe I'm missing you with this. Doing anything with no black people present should not condemn you to death.
No.
All right, that's it.
No.
And it's kind of the same statement they say about women, like, oh, well, you wouldn't have gotten raped if you didn't have a miniskirt on.
So I disagree with that. So like in the story, when I say disagree, I don't disagree. I guess I should say I don't disagree with that. As far as I should say, I do.
What do you?
What am I trying to say?
What are you saying?
I disagree that it doesn't matter what you have on. That that should mean you should get raped. Like that's the reason why you got raped. But I do, there are steps that you can take to limit that. And like he said I think that's what you was kind of alluded to, like the drug that was like getting mollied or whatever. What do they call it? Spiked. Well, that's gonna help someone take advantage of you, and minimizing that. But see, my problem with that night was her quote unquote friend. Like I didn't like him, and then the fact that he started avoiding her, I was like, so something happened. You know what I'm saying? Like something happened.
What was up with him? He was trying to like set up a thing between his girl and his mistress. It seemed like his girl wanted his mistress more than he did.
Yes, and his girl and his mistress wasn't into his girl, and I think he was trying to set up her, Annabelle, with his cousin, but his cousin wasn't. It was like, you're short.
Yeah, the nigga from Chicago or wherever he was from, New York. Yeah.
And so when they got to that spot, I guess he was just like, I'm gonna let my homies eat. And it was like the white boy that I guess, because the white boy was the one that came up with all the shots. It was interesting though, because it was like he had to actually like position the shots just right, because both of them got spiked.
Who's both of them?
Because the mistress was there that night, and she was like, that's how she knew something happened. Because the mistress.
Oh, she said she blacked out too.
Yeah, her friend said you must have been spiked, and she was like, yeah, my roommate said I must have been spiked.
That's yeah.
And then that's when
Gotcha,
she was like, oh, that happened. So I need to call to my friend, and he would not answer the phone for some.
Yep.
I see.
Till she talked with his girl, because then his girl was giving him that pressure.
No. What happened was Terry called him, and he answered the phone for her. It was one of those things where I call you a couple times, and you ignore, and then you like. Let's say another example.
Well,
I call someone.
I
times,
got you.
You call him, he answered. Then I'd be like, hey, yeah, I want to talk to you about it.
But his girl, what I'm saying is his girl gave him that pressure after that phone conversation, because she looking at him like, what the fuck did you do? Yeah. And then he just like, I gotta go to work or something. He got up and fucking exited the scene. But masterful fucking show, man. I'm loving it so far. I'm actually enjoying the week by week kind of HBO shit.
I find it interesting. I think one of the more interesting part of it was the Indian writer. How she, so I guess.
Absolutely right.
I guess so. Like he did not ask to do it, so yes, you're right. But after it happened, she was like throwing shade without actually saying it. Like at the meeting, it was like, yeah, because that so and so raped so and so. He was like, huh? And she was like clean it up just a bit, and she did that like 2 or 3 times before she actually came out and was like, yo, he raped me.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah. So what?
That was
so
she
she dropped like jarring revelation like I was raped, and then she's like I know his name, and then they're like what's his name, and then she's like Zane whatever, but she's starting a whole nother conversation, but it's just an awkward follow up to that moment after saying I know his name. The flashbacks that she was having, so she's had like several. She had one where it was the dude that raped her the first night. She had one where it was Zane. What do you think the one where it was her face meant?
That she's living reckless. Because, like, she barely knew this nigga. And she's already having sex with him.
Okay.
Like, and right after, and literally within a day or so, maybe even a day of, coming from the fucking police station about her rape.
That was the same day.
Exactly. I thought so, but
yeah. She literally left she cut her hair off, went to the police department, and then got the call that, Miss Susie was coming through, and then she just showed up in his shirt and some pants that she walked in the store. I thought she stole them, but apparently she bought them.
But, I mean, yeah, I think in that instance, she was looking at some of the decisions she was making. Because, like, I think he was like, I really feel like right before she was like, are you coming to him? He was thinking like, oh, fuck, well, this was a waste of time. I shouldn't have come over. I'm about to leave. When she basically propositioned him. Right? And it was like, oh, why not?
Yeah. I don't think, that seems like it was a separate interaction than when he pulled the rubber out.
Yeah, but in that instance, when you was talking about
the flashback.
The flashback of her. Like, it was almost like she was trying to get to a place that was less complicated. And in her mind, less complicated was sex.
Yeah, just busy. Just occupied.
Because she knew she wasn't really, like, as far as, like, the professional aspects of going back and forth with him, working on her writing, she wasn't there because of what was going on. And so I guess she was a bit embarrassed about that. And to make up for it, again,
I looked at that completely different. So
I would have sex with you.
Got you.
Move on.
So I saw that as like like a shifting of a changing of the guard, if you will. So I saw that as, before she saw the other people as being in the position of power, if you will, having the power. And then when she had that flashback, it was her face. So it was like, it's my turn to stop being a victim of
I can see that too.
Of this, and to start, no, pardon my French. It's her turn to start doing the fucking. And that was right after she had that flashback is when he's a rapist. She just went up there and just put it all out there. It's like she took the power back, and it's like a shift in the power dynamic. That's kind of how I interpreted that after the episode, obviously.
I feel similarly in the sense that was the moment where it was like, I got to change something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been making some bad decisions, but it don't exclude them. That don't exclude them from it, and they took advantage of it.
Yep.
And so then that's when I'm going to take control of it.
Yeah. I'm expecting the next couple of episodes to be I don't know why I expect anything because I've been wrong so far, but I'm expecting her to be a little bit more left foot, right foot.
What do you think about her character though? Like she's so like.
I think her character represents where we are today, and I mean I think all the characters represent where we are today in society.
Her
lack of focus, lack of
she's all over the place, bro.
But how that describes millennials.
So all over the place. Maybe,
but that describes like everything in that episode kind of or not episode, but the show speaks to kind of our generation, right? Even the drug dealer, right? We want to have access to these things, right? But then deep down, we do kind of still harbor some kind of judgment for people who may take it a bit too far, right? It's like weed should be legal, right? But there's always, like what you called earlier, the line of demarcation. And it's just like, yeah, but. And he doesn't see the wrongdoing. Well, he sees the wrongdoing in what he's doing, but he uses, that to justify making a living or doing something for himself. Like he knows the end result of that, but he still does it. Yep. Like he's conflicted. Her personally, she's what some would say unaccredited, I guess, but she's popular, right? So it's like, oh well, you've got traction online and you're popular, but you lack the technical skills and the discipline to.
Like you said, he went to Cambridge.
Yeah. So, and I didn't get her interaction with the girl Sean because she was like, "How do you know him?" And they said something. I gotta watch.
I think she basically has this white girl, right?
Yeah.
She has sex with him too.
I know, but they used a certain phrase.
Basically, he's a ladies' man. I got the distinction that he's basically in their native language, native tongue.
Yeah.
That he's like a ladies' woman, and he knows
a ladies' man.
Ladies' man.
Oh. I'm gonna say, damn, man, another episode. You gotta fast forward through.
A ladies' man, and he, bags chicks, and so and that is
uses his writing and shit like that. Okay. His clout.
The artist in him.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That artist, whatever.
And that's kind of what I got too. I just thought the phrase that they said was unfamiliar.
I think that's some London shit.
But yeah, I think that all the characters, kind of represent a different part of society. Even Kwame, right? He's running around here just casual sex. Like we all feel that we can casually do these things and nothing's going to happen from it, right? And then what happened from a casual experience? And it starts off the episode with him just like grocery shopping with his grandma, and it's like he going there get right on his knees. I'm like, damn, he busting it down for gotta be somebody crazy, and it's the cashier, dog. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, so they really highlighted I think they're highlighting just our brazen, over. I don't want to say over abuse, but just like maybe we go too far with things, right? Whether it be pleasurable things or whatever, vices, if you will, because drug use is high in the show, sex is high in the show, like just casually, all these things are happening casually, but from each of those experiences, something fucking terrible has happened. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll say this.
And we're trying to normalize all this shit. We're trying to normalize casual sex. We're trying to normalize casual drug use. All this stuff is becoming normalized, and then look at all the after effects of it.
Yeah, and I guess what I was trying to get to as far as her character, the main character, she just... I think out of all the characters on the show, I don't know anyone that I could be like, it's similar. Cause she's so out there, man. Like, so out there. I don't think I know anyone.
How would you describe her character? And I think if you just break it down to characteristics, you'll absolutely find somebody.
No. Like, it's just, it's hard for me to describe. Because she's just so, like, in one hand, I'll say free. But it's almost like gullible as well. Because, like, you know, like, for instance, like, after the blood clot incident, her and the guy went to watch the fucking sun rise, and she is just, like, enamored with the shit. Like a child. Almost.
What's weird with that?
Right. I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, that's dope. But she was, like, in awe of it. Like, this is the first time she's seen it. I don't know, bro.
Well,
like,
I think that was
things about it.
I think that was a nice play on the expectations that come with, you know, he's a drug dealer, so he's gonna want to do all these things, and he was about to have sex with it, right? But
he was trying to.
Well, I think they were trying to fuck each other, but then obviously he couldn't. But rather than being disgusted by, you know, something that most people would consider disgusting, he was fascinated with it. And then rather than being this overly aggressive guy, he was actually very gentle with her. And then he even, like, the songs that she was singing and shit like that, he ended up singing it at the end of the episode. It was like, yeah, I like that song. It's a good song, whatever. You got good taste in music. But then, you know, I just think it's, not to use the word juxtaposing again, but it was a nice...
Yes!
All the characters are like, they contrast each other, like, or at least the character they're set out to be, right? The actress is shy. I don't know what the word for that is, right? But everybody is opposite of what they say they are. She's a writer, has no accreditations for it, has no technique, no, you know, based on what the Cambridge guy says, right? It's just
the bigger guy who should be upfront and by the book. He's willing to let people. He's the one that has the crazy life.
Who's that?
The banker guy. I don't know his name.
Banker?
Yeah, the guy.
Her friend. Yeah.
He's a banker guy. I know he work in the bank, or at least it looks like he's working finance.
Yeah, he's supposed to be he's supposed to be the upstanding guy, and he's the one, you know, that all this started with him doing some shady shit and just. So yeah, I think that it's interesting, man. I'm tuned in, and we done talked about it for 30 minutes, but I think it's been masterful so far. I'm checking for her now. I want to see what else she's been in. There's like 1 or 2 things on Netflix, but yeah.
All right, well, tune in. I guess that's Sunday nights, right? Monday
nights. I May Destroy You on HBO.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to London Bay.
T.I. 50. T.I. has been trying to get this versus pretty quick, but
yeah.
Who you got, big dog?
This is interesting. I don't actually know who I would call in this. I think 50 will win, I guess, but I like to think that T.I. should be a formidable opponent. But the way I see this battle going, it's going to be a battle of nostalgic, just kind of the just levity and weight of 50's impact, and people just remembering certain songs and what it felt like when they came out, and like you put on Mini Men, and it's just 50 could play the intro track to Get Rich or Die Trying, which is literally a quarter falling on the countertop, and it brings back memories of people, and people just know, you know, What Up Blood coming on next, and just how crazy that was for a moment for records to drop. So I think it's gonna be a tall order if it happens for T.I. to kind of trump that, as well as, you know, 50's he's a fucking showman, bro. So I know 50. He's gonna play the the bad guy, the shit talker. And I feel like I was joking on Twitter and I was like, 50 gonna play the Trey Songz version of the Power theme song, and be like, I'll put this on and this shit'll rock, just to troll him because he was forced to change the fucking song back because it was not what people wanted. People liked the original and he changed it because Trey Songz did it for free. But I think 50 is that much of a mental, like, cerebral assassin that he's gonna troll you and say like, you shouldn't even be here. So I'm not even gonna play the better version of this song. I'm gonna put on the Trigger version that everybody hates, and this shit is still gonna kill whatever you decide to put on. But on the flip side of that, you got the staying power Tip. He got staying power because it's been, I think, I'm serious, is 01?
Yeah.
10 albums, and I think he had bangers on each one of them had at least 2 or 3 bangers. You get the urban legend.
Like, it's starting with that second one.
Yeah, trap music.
Yeah, it's starting with trap music. The next 4 were like strong.
Yeah, so it's not a matter of does T.I. have 20 songs. T.I. got 20.
Yes.
It's just, will people be open? And T.I.'s a showman as well, right? So I don't want to get that confused, but I think 50 is on a whole nother level of trolling. And even T.I.'s antics and what he had to go to for like motivation to kind of sell this, right? It's like, oh, people been talking about the South. Ain't nobody been talking about the South lately. Like you saying this shit to kind of like create the environment for conflict, but it ain't there. Whatever beef he had with 50 at one point, when 50, said that shit about him having to snitch to get out of jail and all that shit.
He was supposed to go to his birthday party.
Yeah, like all that shit's dead. So I get it. But it ain't, T.I. don't really feel that way. But I think 50 is very convincing in his beefs and his issues that he is public about. He's very convincing. I don't think he feels that way half the time. But he knows that drama sells. And he's willing to be that bad guy. He's already sold into being the bad guy. So, but I think it's tough, man. It's tough to call it. But urban legend, I don't know that 50 got an answer to an ASAP or a motivation or a...
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Starting with trap music. Like, I'm serious, it's good. I actually bought that album. I remember that album because, like, literally it dropped a week or two before we played Fam, and we bumping that shit all the way out to Tallahassee and back. So I distinctly remember, like, I've been on him since then. But trap music was like his first, like, if it ain't a classic, that's as close to one as you get to.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
I say urban legend. Even trap music definitely put him there though. It's like, okay, yeah, you got to pay attention.
That's what like I recall like one of my homegirls, like the nigga was like really liked her, and like I guess she wasn't like responding like he wanted. She was like, bruh, be easy. I was like, I just bust out laughing. I bust out laughing and walked away. I never forget that shit. I was like, she is quoting T.I.
Yep.
And I know she fucked with T.I. I was like, fuck.
Yep. So
and that's when I was like, this nigga is translating.
It's gonna be tough, man. But I don't think people are gonna be able to forget about the impact 50 had when he dropped, and I think 50 might edge it out. But I'm gonna side with T.I. But I don't think he's gonna be able. 50 he's too popular. T.I.'s got a big hit too with that Rihanna record, but yeah. He's probably got more.
And even at What You Know About, that's a big one.
Yeah. But 50 he was in a different league as far as popularity and notoriety in the nation and worldwide, really, bro. His impact sold like 11 or 12 million off that first record, bro.
But and this is basically on the last battle. It's all about when you play it and how you play it. Like I just go ahead and say it. Like I'm all in on T.I. I think T.I. is gonna win if they were to do it. Now, could 50 take it? Yes, depending on how the showman aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
But that's when I think that's when you have records that match up and that fit kind of categorically. You know what I'm saying? Like Jada and Fab, like Jada was prepared. Fab wasn't prepared.
Exactly. That's what I'm
But
saying.
Jada was like, oh, if he want to take it here, I got a record for that.
Exactly.
I don't think Tip. What do you play against Mini Men?
I mean, so
You got nothing.
just like, but at the same time, just like, you know, I think this goes back to, and I never really thought about it like that, but listening to like the Joe Budden podcast, you like there's certain songs you just like, I'm not gonna be able to beat that one.
But that's what I'm saying. I think 50 has on
I
that
don't
first
know.
project. That
I give you Mini Man. What else? I like Wangster, but I'm not gonna give that one. I like what's the one where you say like a fat kid love
bro,
cake?
I'm not going 21 questions.
Yes.
I'm not.
That one's good.
We're not finna go down the track list right now. But what I want you to do, I'm gonna give you a homework assignment. Sometime this weekend, just put on Get Rich or Die Trying and let it rock.
I know it's tough.
But what I'm saying is, those aren't like I don't know how to categorize those songs, and you could put it on and just let that whole album rock. If he just played Get Rich or Die Trying and told Tip to match it, Tip has like club records. 50 didn't have a bunch of club records. He just had hard fucking songs.
Tip has some songs though, bro.
I'm on Tip's side, but I'm saying that I'm talking about
I think
in the battle arena. In the battle arena, and you're taking into account the impact that some of these songs had. Like that album, almost every song on that album had crazy impact. People are saying "What Up Blood" is one of his best songs ever. That's the fucking first song. That's before Mini Men. And it really had that kind of an impact. And I think that what's going to happen is he's going to play shit like that, and it's going to remind people of the impact, not of what is the better song or what song sounds better to me today or whatever else people can go to. And I don't know the answer to a What Up Blood. Wangster, okay, go find one of your singles that you think was a bigger single. Wangster, what you know about that? Boom. I find the answer to that. Mini Men?
I mean, what?
I don't know, bro.
You're not gonna win every. It's not gonna be a 20-0.
Yeah.
You really are talking about maybe 6 to 8 songs.
We'll see. If it happens, we'll see.
But I mean, we
gotta watch it live.
Sometimes I think there's a little bit of like that album was, I guess, the biggest album, and I think there's a little bit of bias as far as that just being. It was a time. It was a time in a period of time, and it was a big album. I mean, shit. It was. Yes. It was a great album.
Same can be said about Tip.
But Tip has consistency.
I agree.
And
That's what I'm saying. Longevity versus the impact.
I feel as far as like actual rap ability, Tip got him.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like he has Tip has albums like cuts that are like some of my favorite that were never like singles. Like Salute. I feel like Salute is probably one of his best songs. And that nigga rips that shit. You know?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Not to mention King of the South.
Not disagreeing with you there.
You know what I'm saying? So I think he has enough of a catalog to take it.
Like I said, I don't think it'll be I don't know. I don't think anybody we discussed what would be a good battle before, and we didn't pit this one. I think they look at. I think 50 considers himself in a class, kind of his own, class above it. And I think Tip recognizes that 50 is in that class, but he thinks that but he feels that hey, I'm up there too. Despite I know he had the impact, but as far as cultural relevancy and who's been able to stay hot over all these years, because 10 albums, man, Tip been out since like I said 01. It's 20 years. And he just had a single, a big single, even off this Dime Trap shit. He had that junk with Yo Gotti, Wraith, and then what was the other one with Meek? He had 2 joints. But even before that, on the album before that, with Young Thug and
Cut it.
Cut it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the 7, but 7 to 7.
Hey. All I thought was the green back, like in the.
All about
video.
the money. There you go. Ain't about the money. So he know how to make a hit and how to get with the right person to make that sound. So I don't fault it. It's, again, it's gonna come down to if people are able to shake the impact and nostalgic feeling that 50 brought when he brought, because he fucking brought it, and that's what it is. And you talking to somebody, I'm a diehard Tip fan. He in my top 5, so we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
We both got Tip. We'll see if it ever happens, baby. Last on the docket today, we're gonna get a little bit of an NFL topic. We're gonna talk a little bit.
Y'all getting a 2-piece this week.
Yeah, let's start with the announcement that for the first game of the year, they're gonna play the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing.
Go ahead, man.
I mean, I think there's been like a movement, or at least like a thread over the last couple of weeks, where we don't want just, face, or we don't want token acknowledgments. And the reason why I feel almost like this is kind of like putting the black players in the catch-22, because what I ultimately see is them standing for, quote unquote, and this goes even beyond the Jamil tweet, but I can see them standing for that song and then kneeling for the next one. I just think it's a bad look.
I can see half the stadium sitting for that one or kneeling for that one and then standing for the next one.
So and that is,
but that ain't a bad look. It's your right to do that. So if you want to kneel during this one, then fuck it, kneel. Have a good reason. Like you kneeling just because we kneel for this other one. That's not a good reason.
Sometimes it's about optics, and I feel like it's not genuine. You know what I'm saying? If it's genuine, then you're gonna do it all year.
Okay.
You gonna do it for the first song, the first game, and that's gonna be it?
They ain't playing anyway, so I don't see what difference it makes.
Yes, that's a totally different conversation.
They ain't playing no ball this year, man. Y'all just gave Mahomes $60 million this season. He ain't finna toss none of them. But
that's more of my. I mean, I think it's just more platitudes, and it's not like an actual, movement in one way or the other. Like fuck, didn't Jerry Jones kneel with his players at one point? I think I saw that. A picture of him kneeling.
Thought Jerry Jones said they will stand.
And then the next time Ryan was like, they gonna stand.
I don't remember Jerry kneeling.
I think there's a picture of him kneeling.
That nigga was tying his shoe.
No, because he was.
Nah, you talking Ray Lewis.
No. It was a white man. An old white man. I think it was Jerry, if I remember correctly.
Boys go out there, walk out hand to hand, take a knee, and then stand up as the. And I don't think I thought the Cowboys had a pretty like they drew the line in the sand, and I'm pretty sure it was his quote where he was like, "They gonna stand for the national anthem." So I don't recall him doing that. I remember Ray Lewis and them boys went out there, and he was locked, arm and step or a foot, however you say that shit, and then he like took a knee, and then it's all kind of a blur right now. But I know he like took a knee, but didn't take a knee. People are like speculating. He was like, "Well, I wasn't taking a knee. I was praying," or something like that. There was that whole thing going on right there. So, I don't know. I don't see why. Like, I saw another tweet, man, where it was like, nobody asked for this shit. Like, all we ask y'all to do is stop beating us. Tell the cops to stop beating us. I mean, what? Give me some context around that. I see him kneeling, but it's like, what? When is this? Where is this?
That was December.
This shit could be a player fucking injured. But yeah, I saw a tweet that was just like
2017.
All right, well, there you go. But the tweet where it was just like, yo, all we asked for was like y'all the cops to stop killing us for like traffic tickets, nonviolent arrests, and
Exactly.
y'all doing everything but. The actor that voiced Cleveland Brown on Family Guy don't want to be Cleveland no more. Like, we didn't ask you for that.
Yep.
Family Guy was fine. You know what I'm saying? Black voices need to be played by black characters need to be played by black voices. While I agree with that, nobody was complaining about the ones that were doing it before. And I don't even know if black people really watch half of these shows. So it's so what? What are y'all doing? So it's like they're overcompensating, and I part of me feels like it's disingenuous.
That's what I'm saying.
Part of me feels like that's a mockery at this point. At some point, I think some people genuinely are doing it because they want to, they want to be a part of the change, but they don't realize that this isn't necessarily helping. So I don't know. I as far as the Black National Anthem, I think we cool, bro. I think just representation in the ownership, in the coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? Like, let players give black players, Hispanic players, brown players, Asian players. Ain't really many of them in the NFL, but give them a chance at least to show you that they can get there. Name one Asian player in the NFL. All right.
I don't know.
Palomalu.
He's not in the NFL.
He was.
He's not in it.
Pacific Islander. Whatever the politically correct term for that is.
Okay.
But like, give them a chance. Let them. If the talent's there, then see them for the talent and give them the opportunity. And I think that's what people want, man. The owners, that bullshit rule where the owners got to vote the other owners in. Like, figure out some check and balance to that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got an owner who has all the credentials and then it's just the other owners don't like them for whatever reason, who knows what those private conversations are like, So it's got to be something to where it's accessible.
That's gonna be tough though, because it's basically a country club.
Of course.
That's gonna be.
Of course
tough.
it is. It's a league. It's not a organization. The commissioner's not the CEO. He's the
elite country club. Don't have that like we determine who comes in here.
Well, there's the problem.
No matter how much money you have.
So therein lies the problem. So again, you were talking about systemic issues earlier. There's one right there. So you want, again, does it have to happen overnight? Be nice, but Rome wasn't built in a day. So maybe, hey, Jay-Z is a new shout out to Rock Nation too, because they just announced that they're like a partnership to AC Milan football club. But maybe Rock Nation could get some ownership stake in one of the teams or something like that. At least there's a person of color there. At least there's some representation there. But to have none, to show no signs of like changing that at all.
Your boy Khan.
Yeah, who?
Khan. Jacksonville. That's your boy, huh? That's over in your area.
I don't know who you talking about.
What's his name? Khan. The Indian. He's the owner of the Jacksonville.
Oh.
Khan.
I don't know.
I think he owns Wimbledon, or the new stadium.
Wilmington?
No, the stadium in London. The stadium they play
Wimbledon.
in now.
Okay.
Wimbledon. I think he owns that stadium. That's why they're playing it.
Well, shout out to him.
He's a dark-skinned Indian.
There you go. Get some more of them in there. I'm all for it, bro. I'm all for, like I said, I just had a representation there, man. And that's all that it is. And if you ain't doing all that, don't give us this fucking song.
That's what I'm saying.
And then my second point with that is Jamel's point. We don't even know all the verses. Yeah. You gonna play the first verse? We gotta do it like the national anthem and just play the first verse. It gets sketchy after that anyway. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a lot more people kneeling if they heard the second and third verse to the national anthem.
Yeah.
Be a lot more people kneeling. So that's all I'm saying. So give us the verse. All right, cool. We'll take that. But is it really helping things? I don't think so.
Nah.
I don't think so.
Nah. And lastly,
the bag.
Your boy Mahomes got the 10-year, $500 million, as they said in London, half a yard contract.
Yep, $480 million going to the young boy. Congrats to him first and foremost.
Could eventually equate to as much as $503 million.
He ain't getting that shit.
I think he's gonna get it.
Nah, he ain't getting it. Half of it's not. He ain't getting it. I was looking at the details of it. They got a lot of. is almost all roster bonuses. So if he don't perform for like a year, 2 years straight, they just gonna cut his ass before that.
What's
time.
the likelihood of that happening though? At
this
point,
it's the NFL.
I
All
think,
my favorite quarterbacks were injured, except for one who he was injured professionally because he was fighting dogs, but he shall remain nameless.
Yes.
But I just say this. I mean, I think at this point, I don't see many flaws in his game. Yes, injury could happen, but I think, bro, if this cat get another championship in the next 5 years, it's over. He getting all of it. They gonna eat that because of what he brought to the franchise.
I mean,
Now he's gonna have to play, but
absolutely.
they gonna eat that, and they're gonna eat it for a year or two.
NFL is cutthroat, bro, when it comes to the money. So they put a lot of that up. He's getting a lot of it heavy the first couple of years. I think right now he's got. I was looking at like it's a metric they call like dead money, and then the hit to the salary cap. So they're pretty much, the Chiefs are like $65 million under for the next like 2 or 3 years, and then after that they can cut them and like it'll be negligible. It'd be like a $4 million hit to the salary cap. Whereas right now, if they were to say we don't want you no more, they got to pay $65 million this year, and then next year it's like 61 or something like that. So it's impressive. This year his salary is really low. It's only like, it's not even millions of dollars.
He's not even in that contract yet.
No, it's an extension, so he technically is, but he's still recouping,
The 27
payments from his rookie contract. Yeah. So yeah, but right now he's getting a lot of like performance bonuses and all that stuff, and guarantees. He's got performance guarantees right now. Those shits go away in like 3 years. So that's what I'm saying. They're like leveraging that roster bonus, basically saying what you're saying is that he's going to perform, like they're confident in his game, and it's a long contract. So they're saying we're confident that he'll be on the team come June 1st every year for the next 10 years. And if he is
12 years.
12, you're right, yeah, because the extension don't kick in until 21 to 22. So yeah, so that's what they're saying. They're weighing in on that. So he's gonna have to stay healthy, and I hope he does because them roster bonuses, they are fucking 50 mil, 60 mil. He get all that. So it's you can consider it guaranteed as long as he plays. Like as long as he's on the team come June 1st, 60, 50, 60, 50, boom, you get it. But and like I say, the NFL is fucking cutthroat. You have 1 or 2 years where you're like marginal. See them boys giving them the.
I just don't see that happening though.
You can't say that in the NFL.
I think so. I think there's always a few quarterbacks that you could just be like, I don't see that happening until they fall off, until they can't physically do that no more.
Fucking, I would have said the same thing about Cam Newton that 1 year, and then he showed up in the Super Bowl, and it's like, who the fuck is this?
But
basically
he can't physically.
Season.
He can't. He went 15-1.
I said basically an undefeated season.
Okay, I thought you said he had an undefeated season. But he had a few. He got injured. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. A lot of his game was the fact that if it was third and 2, 4th and 1, or 3rd and 1, you're not stopping this 6'5", 260-pound man. That was.
We know his work.
You know what I'm saying? Like he does. He can pass the ball, but if you do like, if you're a running team and you do what they normally do, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, and then you got a 4th and 1. What's the likelihood you're gonna stop Cam? Who's gonna stop Cam? And so I feel like they ran. He got injured. I give you that though. I give you that one. There's always an exception. I give you Cam, but I still feel like there are always a few like elite quarterbacks that are more based in the standard realm of what you think of a quarterback, like from a passing perspective, which I don't think Cam ever was in that top echelon. And at that point, I feel like it's whether or not they have like a fucking Alex Smith type injury that could stop them from going there. Like Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, those type of, like him, Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like, There's about 5 to 6 or 7.
That nigga threw the ball on the 1 yard line, so I don't know.
I mean, you know, you call the play, bro. It is what it is. But I feel like there's about 4 to 6 quarterbacks that, as long as they don't get injured, they're gonna be on the team, and just can't. And even in that aspect, I guess in that instance, I could point to Cam and say he got injured at the wrong time. At the back end of his contract, when it was like, and on top of that, you got a new owner.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not arguing any of that. I'm just saying that that's a long time in the NFL, man. If shit happens and they're cutthroat.
I would say this. So, if he was 27, 28, I would more agree with you. But because of the fact he's like, what, 24?
25.
I just think he's going to get majority of that, if not all of it.
All right. Well, I hope so, man. I'm not wishing nothing upon him, man. I'm just saying that's a long time for NFL.
You're right. They cutthroat. The NFL is cutthroat.
Especially with $60 million on the line.
The one position that kind of is the exception to that is his. And he's stupid young. Like, to get this at 24 or 25, like you said, you're going to get to 32 at least. That's the majority of it.
Like I said, I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. No disagreements from me. I hope so, man. I just like I said, it's a long time. You know, I'm thinking from a business standpoint, man. The more you gotta wait to get your money, the more the money decreases in value and all that shit. So that's how I'm looking at it. I would prefer give me more of it up front.
But that's what the biggest players were like the issue with it, because like maybe, you know, like anything. 10 years ago, I think they were saying like the top quarterbacks were making like $12 million a year, $13 million a year. Now, motherfuckers are making 40, 35, 40.
Yep.
And so it was like 10 years from now, you could still be making quote unquote, 45, 46 million. While the next guy, although I don't think they're going to be making 100 million, but could be making 70.
Yeah, but I mean, money in like inflation. There is inflation. So it's not apples to apples when you say like the last guy 15 years ago was making 10, 13, and now this guy's making 40. So there is inflation to account for with that. These guys lose a lot in taxes, agent fees, everything. So there's. But
I think you still can kind of say he like take home he'll get right around over the next 12 years if he gets all 12 years. Let's put that caveat out there that he'll be bringing home $200 million.
Yeah. Depending on his agent fees and when they decide to take them. You taking them before taxes, after taxes? Well, they taking them before. Well, that's a trick question.
But the good thing about it is
rhetorical question.
Yeah, you can 1099 on it, so it's basically not your money. But at any rate, I think I found the interesting part about it was the piece that I think no one really talked about it, but or should they say they kind of. Said something to the effect, but didn't really bring in the whole totality. Was like it's almost like a baseball contract, and I find it ironic because his father being a Major League Baseball player, so that's something that probably he really what I'm saying, like he just happened to be the guy that will be up for basically a Major League contract.
Yeah, I saw that as well. But they say that more people are going towards those more like roster bonus contracts and everything. So we'll see. But shout out to Mr. Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. Congratulations, man. Hope you get all that and more rings to come, more life.
I would say as long as you're not going against my Saints.
See, then he want the 09 Saints out there. Then he want them boys, getting incentivized to take you out, get a kneecap.
The Saints got to come home, baby. They come marching in, baby. They got to come marching in. With that said, don't be a square. Hit the like, share, love, thumbs up, subscribe, notification buttons on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube under Hot Takes and Half Truth Podcast, IG and Twitter under HT Square Pod. And if you're truly new school, old school, you can email us any show ideas or thoughts or questions at htsquarepod@gmail.com. You can reach me directly on IG and Twitter at I am Ivy Joe. That's Joe J-U-X.
Yep, you can find your boy on IG and Twitter at JustKingin. Spell how it sound. JustKingin.
Yes.
You got anything else picked up before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm out. Y'all getting a 2-pack this week, man.
Alright.
This might be a record, so. All right, man.
Well, and just like that, we're done. From the two of us to all of you, talk to you next time. Wash your hands.